Hello to all fans of Naruto Lemon. I will post all Naruto Lemon Yaoi, Yuri, or Naruko Lemon stories only on the Boosty channel because Uncle YouTube condemns this. Therefore, I invite everyone who wants Naruto Lemon content to my Boosty channel. Good luck.
お前はどこまで見えている俺死に様か
Chapter 1, A New Beginning. Setting, Konohagakure, several years after the Fourth Great Ninja War. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over Konohagakure. The village, bustling with life, had transformed into a beacon of peace and prosperity in the years since the Fourth Great Ninja War. The remnants of the old conflicts had given way to new beginnings, and among the most prominent of these was Naruko Uzumaki, now a respected and influential leader of the village. Naruko stood on the balcony of the Hokage Tower, her eyes scanning the village she had sworn to protect. The weight of her responsibilities as Hokage was immense, but her heart swelled with pride at the sight of the thriving village. Her thoughts were interrupted by a familiar voice behind her. Still working late, Hokage-sama? She turned to see Shikamaru Nara, her trusted advisor, leaning against the doorframe with his trademark lazy smile. His presence was a comforting reminder of the strong team she had by her side. I can't help it, Shikamaru, Naruko replied with a chuckle. There's always something that needs doing. Shikamaru walked over and stood beside her. Well, you deserve a break. Besides, there's something you might want to know. What is it? Naruko asked, raising an eyebrow. Shikamaru's smile widened. Yamato is back from his mission. Naruko's heart skipped a beat. Yamato, the skilled and reliable ninja who had been one of her closest allies and friends, had been away on a lengthy mission. His return was both unexpected and deeply anticipated. Yamato? He's back? Naruko's eyes lit up with excitement. Yes, Shikamaru confirmed. He's at the village gates. I thought you might want to greet him. Without hesitation, Naruko nodded and rushed out of the Hokage Tower. Her steps were light as she made her way to the village gates, the familiar sights and sounds of Konoha surrounding her. As she approached the gates, her heart pounded with anticipation. Yamato stood there, his calm demeanor and composed stance instantly recognizable. He had changed in subtle ways, his face bore the marks of experience and the wisdom of his years, but his presence remained as reassuring as ever. Yamato. Naruko called out as she neared him. Yamato turned, his eyes meeting hers with a warm, genuine smile. Naruko. For a moment, they simply stood there, taking in each other's presence. The years apart had not diminished their bond, and the reunion felt both natural and profound. You're back. Naruko said, her voice filled with relief and joy. Yamato nodded. Yes, the mission was successful. It's good to be home. Naruko's eyes softened as she looked at him. I've missed you. I've missed you too, Yamato replied sincerely. It's good to see you again. The warmth in his voice and the way he looked at her stirred something deep within Naruko. She had always valued their friendship, but now, seeing him again, she realized how much she had missed him, not just as a friend but as someone who held a special place in her heart. As they walked through the village together, the air between them seemed charged with unspoken emotions. They caught up on old times, sharing stories and laughter. The familiarity of their conversation and the ease of their companionship made it clear that their connection had endured the test of time. Later, as the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the village, Yamato and Naruko found themselves at a quiet spot near the river. The tranquil setting provided a perfect backdrop for them to reconnect on a deeper level. Thank you for coming to greet me, Yamato said, his voice soft and sincere. It means a lot. Naruko smiled, her gaze fixed on the flowing river. I wanted to. It feels like things are falling into place again. Yamato looked at her, his eyes reflecting a mix of admiration and something else, something more profound. It's good to be home, and it's good to see you again. There was a moment of silence as they both contemplated the weight of their words. The river's gentle flow seemed to mirror the undercurrent of emotions between them. As the stars began to appear in the evening sky, Naruko felt a surge of courage. She had always admired Yamato's strength and reliability, but now, she saw him in a new light, one that made her heart ache with the longing she had been trying to ignore. "Yamato," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "There's something I've been meaning to tell you." Yamato turned to her, his expression attentive and concerned. "What is it?" Naruko took a deep breath, her heart racing. "I've realized that over the years, my feelings for you have grown into something more than just friendship. I care about you deeply, more than I've ever admitted." Yamato's eyes widened slightly, and he took a step closer to her. "Naruko, I've felt the same way. Being apart from you has made me realize how much you mean to me." Their confessions hung in the air, and the space between them seemed to shrink as their emotions converged. Yamato reached out, gently cupping Naruko's face in his hands. His touch was tender, and his eyes held a mixture of affection and yearning. "Can I kiss you?" he asked softly. Naruko's heart fluttered at the question. "Yes," she whispered. With a gentle and deliberate motion, Yamato leaned in, his lips meeting Naruko's in a kiss that was both sweet and passionate. It was a kiss that spoke of the depth of their feelings, the years of unspoken emotions finally coming to the surface. As they pulled away, their eyes locked, and the connection between them felt more profound than ever. The kiss had sealed their feelings, and the promise of a new beginning was evident in their expressions. The evening continued to unfold in quiet moments of shared intimacy and connection. The stars above seemed to shine brighter as if celebrating their newfound bond. Yamato and Naruko, now more aware of their feelings for each other, looked forward to the future with hope and excitement. As they walked back to the village, hand in hand, their hearts were lighter, and their steps were more confident. The reunion had rekindled something beautiful between them, and the journey ahead promised to be filled with love, challenges, and shared adventures. Chapter 2, Unspoken Emotions. Setting, Konoha's training grounds. The sun was high in the sky, casting its warm rays over Konoha's training grounds. The usual sounds of combat and the shouts of training ninjas filled the air. In the midst of this organized chaos, Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato stood facing each other, their eyes locked in silent communication. The air was thick with a tension that was both familiar and new. Naruko's heart raced as she adjusted her stance, readying herself for their training session. Yamato, ever the composed instructor, watched her with a steady gaze. The time apart had made her realize just how much she had missed him, not just as a comrade but as something more. Yamato began with a series of quick movements, demonstrating various techniques. Naruko mirrored his actions, her movements precise, but tinged with an edge of hesitance. They had trained together countless times, but today felt different. Each move, each block, seemed to resonate with an unspoken message that neither wanted to acknowledge. Their practice session continued in a rhythm that spoke volumes without words. The way their bodies moved in unison, the slight adjustments they made for each other's comfort, and the occasional, lingering touch all seemed to amplify the unspoken emotions between them. Yamato's presence was both reassuring and unsettling, stirring feelings that Naruko had been trying to ignore. As they paused to catch their breath, Naruko wiped the sweat from her brow and glanced at Yamato. His face was set in its usual calm expression, but there was something different in his eyes, a softness that she hadn't seen before. It made her heart ache with a longing that she struggled to keep under control. "You've improved a lot since we last trained together," Yamato said, breaking the silence. His voice was gentle, but there was a hint of something more in it. "Thanks," Naruko replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've had a lot of practice." Yamato's eyes lingered on her, his expression thoughtful. "You know, it's not just about physical strength. It's about how we handle our emotions, too." Naruko's breath caught in her throat. Yamato's words seemed to cut through the surface-level conversation, touching on something deeper. She felt a surge of frustration and vulnerability. "Is that what you think? That I'm not handling my emotions well?" Yamato's gaze softened. That's not what I meant. It's just that emotions can be a powerful tool, and sometimes they can be a burden if we don't address them. Naruko looked away, her heart pounding. What are you saying, Yamato? Before he could respond, Kurama's voice echoed in Naruko's mind. Naruko, you need to confront these feelings. It's clear that both of you are struggling with something more than just your duties. Naruko flinched slightly, the voice of Kurama shaking her from her turbulent thoughts. She took a deep breath, trying to compose herself. Yamato, there's something I need to talk to you about. Yamato's expression grew serious. What is it? Naruko hesitated, her mind racing. The weight of her feelings felt like an overwhelming force, but she knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. I've been thinking a lot lately about us, about how things have changed since you've been back. Yamato raised an eyebrow, his curiosity piqued. Changed how? Naruko took another deep breath. I don't know how to say this, but being apart from you has made me realize just how much I care about you. More than just as a friend. Yamato's eyes widened slightly, and he took a step closer to her. Naruko, Before he could finish, Naruko interrupted, her voice trembling. I've been trying to ignore it, to keep things the way they were, but I can't. I think I've fallen for you, Yamato. And I don't know what to do about it. The silence that followed was heavy with emotion. Yamato's gaze remained fixed on Naruko, his own feelings clearly in turmoil. He took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. Naruko, he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. I've felt the same way. Being away from you made me realize just how much I value you, not just as a teammate, but as someone who means a lot to me. Naruko's heart leapt at his confession. So, what do we do now? Yamato reached out, gently taking her hand in his. We talk about it. We figure out how to move forward together. Naruko nodded, her eyes shining with a mixture of hope and fear. I want that. I want us to be more than just friends. Yamato's grip on her hand tightened, and he offered her a reassuring smile. We'll take it one step at a time. We'll face whatever comes together. The moment felt suspended in time, their hands clasped together, and the world around them fading into the background. It was a new beginning, a chance to explore a relationship that had been building silently but was now ready to come to light. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the training grounds, Naruko and Yamato stood together, united not just by their roles as ninjas, but by the deepening bond of their hearts. The path ahead was uncertain, but they faced it with the knowledge that they were no longer alone in their journey. Chapter 3, The Mission. Setting, a nearby village under threat. The sun was setting behind the distant mountains, casting long shadows over the small, rural village nestled in the valley. The tranquility of the evening was marred by the ominous presence of dark clouds gathering above. A sense of unease hung in the air as the villagers went about their preparations, their faces tense with worry. Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato arrived at the village's outskirts, their expressions set with determination. Naruko, now a formidable leader, wore her Hokage cloak over her usual attire, while Yamato, ever the dependable ally, carried his usual set of tools and a calm demeanor. We'll start by gathering information, Naruko said, her voice firm as she looked around the village. We need to understand what's happening here and how we can help. Yamato nodded in agreement. I'll scout the perimeter and check for any immediate threats. Meet me at the central square in an hour. Naruko watched him walk away, her mind racing with the possibilities of what they might encounter. She made her way through the village, greeting the anxious villagers and listening to their concerns. The reports were disturbing, strange occurrences, attacks by unknown assailants, and a general atmosphere of fear. In the central square, Naruko stood on a small platform addressing the gathered villagers. Her presence was commanding, and her words were filled with reassurance. We're here to help. We'll find out what's going on and make sure you're safe. Please, stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary risks. As the villagers returned to their homes, Naruko felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see Yamato, his face shadowed with concern. I found some signs of recent activity near the village's edge, he said. It looks like we're dealing with a group of rogue ninjas. Naruko's eyes narrowed. Then we need to act quickly. If they're causing this much trouble, they must have a significant objective. The two ninjas prepared for action, their bodies moving with practiced efficiency. Naruko activated her chakra, her presence radiating confidence and power. Yamato, ever the strategist, reviewed their plan. They would divide their efforts. Naruko would confront the rogue ninjas directly, while Yamato would provide support and gather additional intelligence. The first skirmish occurred in the forest just beyond the village. Naruko and Yamato moved silently through the trees, their senses heightened. The air was thick with tension as they approached the area where Yamato had detected the rogue ninja's presence. Suddenly, a group of armed ninjas emerged from the shadows, their faces masked and their intentions clear. Naruko didn't hesitate, she leaped into action, her movements fluid and precise as she engaged the enemy. Yamato joined the fray, his control over his would-release techniques, creating barriers and traps to hinder their opponents. The battle was fierce, each side fighting with determination. Naruko's attacks were powerful, her strength and skill evident in every strike. Yamato's techniques complemented her perfectly, creating a seamless flow of offense and defense. They moved as one, their teamwork honed by years of experience and mutual trust. During a brief lull in the fighting, Naruko and Yamato exchanged a quick glance. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a shared sense of purpose. They were not just fighting to protect the village, they were fighting to protect each other. As the rogue ninjas began to retreat, Naruko and Yamato regrouped. Their breaths came in heavy gasps, but their resolve remained unshaken. Yamato's expression was thoughtful as he observed the defeated enemy. They were well organized and had a clear objective, Yamato noted. We need to find out more about who's behind this. Naruko nodded, her eyes scanning the battlefield. Agreed. Let's see if we can gather any useful information from the remnants of their camp. The two ninjas searched the area, uncovering clues that pointed towards a larger conspiracy. Documents and maps revealed plans for further attacks, as well as connections to a shadowy figure who seemed to be orchestrating the chaos from behind the scenes. With their mission objectives accomplished, Naruko and Yamato returned to the village, where the atmosphere was noticeably calmer. The villagers expressed their gratitude, their fear replaced by a sense of relief. As night fell, Naruko and Yamato took a moment to rest. They sat together on a hill overlooking the village, the stars above twinkling in the clear sky. The quiet was soothing, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just experienced. Naruko turned to Yamato, her expression contemplative. Thank you for your help today. I couldn't have done it without you. Yamato smiled, his gaze warm and sincere. It was a team effort. We make a good team. Naruko's heart swelled at his words. The bond they shared was undeniable, and each mission they completed together only strengthened their connection. She knew that their feelings for each other were growing, even if they hadn't yet fully acknowledged them. As they sat in companionable silence, Naruko felt a deep sense of contentment. The challenges they faced only seemed to bring them closer. And she was grateful for the unwavering support of Yamato by her side. The night air was cool and refreshing, a reminder of the calm that followed the storm. Naruko and Yamato's mission had been successful, but it was the emotional journey that lingered in their hearts, promising new beginnings and deeper connections as they continued their journey together. Chapter 4, Reflections and Confessions. Setting, a peaceful evening by the river. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue over the tranquil river that wound its way through the outskirts of Konoha. The gentle ripple of the water and the soft chirping of evening crickets created a serene atmosphere, perfect for quiet reflection. Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato sat side by side on a grassy knoll overlooking the river, the remnants of their recent mission still fresh in their minds. Naruko had suggested this spot as a place to unwind after their successful mission. It was a favorite retreat of hers, a place where she could gather her thoughts and find solace. Yamato, ever perceptive, had agreed without hesitation, sensing that this moment was important for more than just relaxation. The sky above was painted with hues of orange and pink, and the air was cool and soothing. Naruko glanced sideways at Yamato, who was lost in thought, his eyes fixed on the river's gentle flow. She felt a flutter of nervous anticipation. The mission had brought them closer, their shared experiences forging a bond that had deepened over the course of their time together. Now, as they sat in the quiet of the evening, Naruko felt the weight of her unspoken feelings pressing against her heart. Yamato's presence was comforting, a steady anchor amidst the chaos of her life. They had fought side by side, supported each other through the challenges they faced, and in the process, their connection had grown stronger. Yet, despite their closeness, Naruko had struggled to articulate the depth of her emotions. Tonight, she knew she had to confront her feelings and let Yamato know what was in her heart. Taking a deep breath, Naruko turned to face Yamato, her expression serious but tender. "Yamato," she began, her voice soft but steady, "there's something I need to tell you." Yamato looked at her, his gaze gentle and attentive. "What is it, Naruko?" Naruko hesitated for a moment, searching for the right words. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she forced herself to speak. "Over the years, we've been through so much together. You've always been there for me, supporting me in ways that no one else has. I've come to realize that my feelings for you have grown beyond just friendship." She paused, her eyes meeting his. "I care about you deeply, Yamato. More than I ever thought possible. And I think I'm in love with you." Yamato's expression shifted, a mixture of surprise and warmth lighting up his features. For a moment, he was silent, as if absorbing the weight of her confession. Then, a soft smile touched his lips, and he reached out to take her hand in his. "Naruko," he said quietly, his voice filled with sincerity, "I've been feeling the same way. I've tried to keep my emotions in check, not wanting to overstep any boundaries. But hearing you say this, it means so much to me." Naruko's heart swelled with relief and joy at his words. She felt a weight lift from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of happiness and anticipation. Yamato's touch was warm and reassuring, and she leaned into him, feeling a profound sense of connection. Yamato gently cupped her face in his hands, his eyes searching hers with a tenderness that made her heart race. "I've admired you for so long, Naruko. Your strength, your compassion, and your determination. I've always been drawn to you, and now, I realize that I've fallen in love with you as well." Their gazes locked, and for a long moment, the world seemed to fall away, leaving only the two of them in their own private universe. Slowly, Yamato leaned in, his lips brushing against hers in a soft, tentative kiss. It was a kiss filled with all the unspoken emotions and shared experiences they had accumulated over the years. When they finally pulled away, Naruko looked up at Yamato with a mixture of joy and relief. "I'm so glad we finally said it," she whispered. Yamato nodded, his smile broadening. "Me too. I've wanted to tell you for so long, but I didn't want to risk ruining what we already have. But now, I'm glad we're on the same page." They sat together in silence, their hands entwined as they watched the river flow beneath the evening sky. The stars began to emerge, twinkling in the darkening sky, and the night air was filled with a sense of new beginnings and possibilities. Naruko and Yamato remained close, savoring the newfound closeness and intimacy. They spoke softly about their future, their dreams, and their hopes, their voices filled with the promise of what lay ahead. The world around them seemed to pause, allowing them to revel in their shared moment of happiness. As the night grew darker, the two lovers remained by the river, their hearts intertwined as they looked forward to the journey they would embark on together. The challenges they had faced only served to strengthen their bond, and they knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together. The evening was a turning point in their relationship, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. The love they shared was now openly acknowledged, and with it came a sense of hope and excitement for the future. As they sat together, the river flowing gently below, Naruko and Yamato knew that their bond was stronger than ever, and they were ready to face whatever came next, hand in hand. Chapter 5, The Bond Deepens. Setting, Konoha's Festival of Lights. The sun had long dipped below the horizon, giving way to a tapestry of twinkling stars that adorned the night sky. Konohagakure was transformed into a luminous wonderland for the annual Festival of Lights, a cherished tradition that celebrated peace and unity within the village. Lanterns of every color and size swayed gently in the evening breeze, casting a warm glow over the bustling streets and vibrant stalls. Naruko Uzumaki stood near the entrance of the festival grounds, her Hokage cloak draped gracefully over her shoulders. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with excitement as she took in the sights and sounds around her. This festival was more than just a celebration, it was a symbol of the harmony and resilience that Konoha had achieved in the aftermath of the Fourth Great Ninja War. Beside her stood Yamato, his presence as steady and reassuring as ever. His dark hair was neatly kept, and his expression held a mixture of contentment and anticipation. The two had become a formidable team, not just in their duties as ninjas, but also in their growing personal bond. "Naruko, you look stunning tonight," Yamato remarked, his voice warm and sincere. He adjusted his glasses, a habitual gesture that added to his composed demeanor. Naruko smiled, a rosy blush tinting her cheeks. "Thank you, Yamato. You don't look too bad yourself." She glanced around, her gaze meeting his. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a silent acknowledgement of the deeper connection they were cultivating. As they made their way through the festival, the air was filled with laughter, music, and the enticing aromas of various foods. Stalls lined the streets, offering everything from traditional kunai-shaped sweets to intricate handcrafted jewelry. Children darted about, their faces lit with joy as they participated in games and activities. Naruko and Yamato decided to start their evening with a leisurely stroll, taking in the vibrant atmosphere. They paused at a stall adorned with delicate paper lanterns, each one meticulously crafted with intricate designs. "These are beautiful," Naruko mused, her fingers tracing the patterns on a particularly ornate lantern. Yamato nodded in agreement. "They symbolize the light we strive to maintain in our lives and in the village." Each lantern represents a wish for continued peace and prosperity. Naruko's gaze softened as she looked at Yamato. "It's fitting, isn't it? After everything we've been through, the festival feels like a reminder of what we're fighting for." Before Yamato could respond, a familiar voice called out from behind them. "Naruko." "Yamato." Turning around, they saw Shikamaru Nara approaching, his laid-back demeanor contrasting with the lively energy of the festival. Beside him were Ino Yamanaka and Sai, both wearing festive attire that highlighted their unique personalities. "Hey, you two." Shikamaru greeted with a grin. "Glad you could make it." "It's not the same without you." Ino stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We've set up a booth for traditional games. You should join us." Naruko laughed, the sound blending seamlessly with the ambient noises of the festival. "We wouldn't miss it for the world." "Come on, Yamato?" Yamato offered a polite smile and followed his friends, leaving Naruko momentarily alone. As they mingled with Shikamaru, Ino, and Sai, Naruko felt a sense of belonging and camaraderie that she cherished deeply. Later in the evening, the group gathered around a bonfire that served as the centerpiece of the festival. Lanterns hung above, their soft light reflecting off the faces of the villagers who had come together to celebrate. Music filled the air, a harmonious blend of traditional melodies and modern rhythms that resonated with everyone present. Naruko found herself seated beside Yamato, the warmth of the fire casting a comforting glow on their faces. They shared stories of their recent missions, laughing over shared experiences and the challenges they had overcome together. As the night progressed, the atmosphere grew more intimate. Couples danced gracefully under the starlit sky, while friends engaged in spirited conversations. Naruko and Yamato remained close, their interactions filled with subtle touches and lingering glances that spoke volumes about their evolving relationship. Kurama, ever the silent guardian, sensed the emotional undercurrents between them. His presence was subtle but significant, a constant reminder of the bond that tied Naruko to the Nine Tails. Tonight, his influence seemed to gently guide Naruko towards embracing her feelings fully. At one point, Yamato turned to Naruko, his expression thoughtful. "Naruko, you've been under a lot of stress lately with your duties as Hokage. Are you managing okay?" Naruko sighed, her shoulders relaxing slightly. "It's been challenging, but having you and the others by my side makes it easier. I couldn't ask for a better team." Yamato reached out, his hand brushing against hers in a fleeting touch that sent a flutter through her heart. "You don't have to carry the weight alone. We're all here for you." Naruko looked down at their intertwined hands, a soft smile gracing her lips. "Thank you, Yamato. That means a lot to me." As the evening continued, the group gathered for the festival's highlight event, the release of lanterns into the sky. Each lantern represented a wish or a hope, a symbolic gesture of the villagers' aspirations for the future. Naruko and Yamato stood together, holding their own lanterns. The anticipation in the air was palpable as everyone prepared for the collective release. Shikamaru gave them a knowing nod, while Ino and Sai cheered them on. "Ready?" Shikamaru asked, his voice cutting through the festive noise. Naruko glanced at Yamato, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "Ready." With a synchronized motion, the group lit their lanterns and released them into the night sky. The lanterns floated upwards, their lights shimmering against the dark canvas above. The sight was breathtaking, a visual testament to the unity and hope that bound the village together. As they watched their lantern ascend, Naruko felt a surge of emotion. The act of releasing the lantern mirrored her own journey of letting go of fears and embracing the future with Yamato by her side. Turning to Yamato, she took a deep breath, gathering her courage. "Yamato, there's something I've been wanting to share with you." Yamato looked at her, his eyes reflecting the light of the lanterns. "What is it, Naruko?" Naruko's gaze met his, her heart racing. "Being here tonight, surrounded by everyone and experiencing this sense of peace and joy, I've realized how much you've become a part of my life. More than just a friend or a comrade." Yamato reached out, gently cupping her face in his hands. "Naruko, you've always been incredibly important to me. Your strength, your kindness, they inspire me every day." Naruko felt a warmth spread through her as Yamato's touch conveyed the depth of his feelings. "I care about you deeply, Yamato. More than words can express." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the world around them seemed to fade away. The festival continued around them, but they were lost in their own universe, the bond between them stronger than ever. Yamato leaned in, his lips meeting hers in a tender, heartfelt kiss. It was a moment of pure emotion, the culmination of years of friendship and unspoken love finally finding its expression. As they pulled away, Naruko rested her forehead against Yamato's, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. "I'm so glad we shared this moment," she whispered. Yamato smiled, his eyes filled with affection. "Me too, Naruko. There's no one else I'd rather share my life with." The two stood together, hand in hand, watching as the last of the lanterns disappeared into the night sky. The Festival of Lights had deepened their bond, solidifying their commitment to each other and to the future they were building together. Continuation of Chapter 5, The Bond Deepens. The festival's festivities continued well into the night, but Naruko and Yamato remained engrossed in their newfound closeness. As the crowd began to thin, the couple found themselves wandering towards a quieter part of the village, away from the main celebration. "Yamato, do you remember the first time we trained together?" Naruko mused, a nostalgic smile playing on her lips. Yamato chuckled softly. "How could I forget? You were determined to master that advanced jutsu, and I was just trying to keep up." Naruko laughed, the sound harmonious and light. "I was so frustrated with myself, thinking I wasn't making any progress. But you always knew how to motivate me." Yamato's expression turned thoughtful. "It's because I saw your potential, Naruko. Even when you didn't see it yourself." Naruko's heart swelled with gratitude. "You've always been there for me, supporting me in ways that go beyond our missions." Yamato took her hand, their fingers intertwining seamlessly. And you've always inspired me with your resilience and leadership. You've made me want to be a better person. They continued walking in comfortable silence, the night air cool against their skin. The bond they shared felt unbreakable, a testament to the trust and love that had blossomed over time. As they reached a secluded garden within the village, the scent of blooming flowers filled the air. Lanterns hung from the trees, their soft light casting intricate shadows on the ground. A small pond reflected the starlit sky, adding to the garden's ethereal beauty. Naruko and Yamato found a bench by the pond, settling down side by side. The tranquil setting provided the perfect backdrop for their intimate conversation. Yamato, Naruko began, her voice barely above a whisper, I've been thinking a lot about our future. About what comes next for us. Yamato turned to face her, his eyes filled with warmth and understanding. I have too, Naruko. I want us to continue building our lives together, not just as ninjas, but as partners. Naruko felt a surge of emotion, her heart aching with love and hope. I want that too. To create a future where we can support each other through anything. Yamato reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Whatever challenges come our way, we'll face them together. As a team. Naruko leaned into his touch, her eyes glistening with unshed tears of happiness. Thank you, Yamato. For everything. At that moment, a familiar voice echoed softly in Naruko's mind. Naruko, your heart is finally finding peace. Embrace it fully. Kurama's silent guidance was always present, and tonight, it seemed to affirm the love that had blossomed between them. Yamato sensed the subtle shift in Naruko's demeanor and gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. Kurama has always been a guiding force for you. I'm glad he's supporting our happiness. Naruko nodded, her gaze meeting his with unwavering certainty. Yes, and with his support, I feel more confident than ever in our relationship. As the night wore on, they shared stories of their past missions, their dreams for the future, and the hopes they held for their relationship. Each word, each glance, strengthened the bond that tied them together, weaving a tapestry of love and trust that would sustain them through whatever lay ahead. The serene beauty of the garden seemed to envelop them, creating a safe haven where their love could flourish without the burdens of their responsibilities. They talked about their aspirations, both personal and professional, and how they envisioned their lives intertwined. One day, I'd like to see our children grow up in a peaceful Konoha, Yamato mused, his voice filled with longing and hope. Teaching them the values we've learned and ensuring they have the opportunities to thrive. Naruko smiled, her eyes shining with love. I'd love that. To see the next generation carrying forward our legacy. Their conversation drifted into comfortable silence, the only sounds being the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of nocturnal creatures. The connection they shared felt sacred, a bond that transcended the chaos of their lives as ninjas. As they sat together under the canopy of stars, Yamato leaned in once more, his lips meeting Naruko's in a soft, lingering kiss. It was a kiss that spoke of deep affection, unwavering support, and the promise of a future filled with love and shared dreams. Pulling away slightly, Yamato rested his forehead against hers, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. Naruko, I'm grateful for every moment we've shared. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. Naruko's heart fluttered at his words, her soul resonating with the sincerity in his voice. Neither can I, Yamato. Together, we can overcome anything. As the night deepened, they remained in each other's embrace, the festival of lights continuing around them but fading into the background. Their love had not only withstood the tests of time and adversity, but had also flourished into something beautiful and unbreakable. The bond between Naruko and Yamato had deepened, solidifying their commitment to each other and to the future they were building together. With Kurama's silent approval and the support of their friends and village, they stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united by their love and the unyielding strength of their hearts. Chapter 6, Challenges Ahead. Setting, Konoha's Hokage Tower. The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of the Hokage Tower, casting a warm glow over the expansive office that Naruko Uzumaki now called her own. The room was a blend of traditional Konoha architecture and modern amenities, reflecting her role as both a ninja and a leader. Scrolls and maps adorned the walls, alongside personal mementos that reminded her of her journey from a spirited orphan to the village's esteemed Hokage. Naruko sat behind her desk, her fingers tapping rhythmically on the polished wood surface as she reviewed reports from various missions and administrative updates. Her bright blue eyes, filled with determination and a hint of weariness, scanned the documents meticulously. Despite the tranquility that Konoha enjoyed years after the Fourth Great Ninja War, the responsibilities of leadership weighed heavily on her shoulders. The door to her office swung open, and Yamato stepped inside, his presence immediately bringing a sense of calm and support. He wore his customary attire, a blend of practicality and professionalism, befitting his role as a trusted advisor and protector of the village. His dark hair was neatly styled, and his expression held a mixture of concern and unwavering support. "Good morning, Hokage-sama," Yamato greeted, his voice steady and respectful. Naruko looked up, a warm smile gracing her lips as she gestured for him to take a seat. "Good morning, Yamato. Please, have a seat." Yamato sat down across from her, placing a stack of reports on her desk. "I brought the latest updates from Team 7. They encountered some resistance while securing the perimeter, but overall, the mission was successful." Naruko nodded, appreciating his diligence. "Thank you. I'll review these later. Is there anything else on your mind?" Yamato hesitated for a moment before speaking, his eyes meeting hers with a depth of sincerity. "Yes, actually. There's been some unrest in the outskirts of the village. A few new teams have been assigned to monitor the area, but there have been reports of unusual activity that don't quite add up." Naruko leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Unusual activity? Can you elaborate?" Yamato unfolded a map of Konoha surrounding regions, pointing to a specific area marked with multiple notations. "There have been sightings of unknown shinobi movements and strange energy signatures that our sensors haven't been able to fully identify. It's as if they're trying to remain undetected while still exerting some influence over the region." Naruko studied the map, her strategic mind already working through the implications. "This could be a precursor to something larger. We need to ensure that these activities don't escalate into full-blown conflicts. I'll task Team 7 with gathering more intelligence and coordinating with the other teams." Yamato nodded, his expression resolute. "I'll assist in any way I can. Perhaps a reconnaissance mission together would be beneficial. Your insight and leadership could prove invaluable in navigating these challenges." Naruko felt a surge of gratitude and warmth towards Yamato. His unwavering support had been a cornerstone of her ability to lead effectively, especially now that their relationship had deepened beyond friendship. "I appreciate that, Yamato. Your expertise and presence are always a great asset." As Yamato stood to leave, Naruko reached out, placing a hand gently on his arm. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. We'll address it promptly." Yamato offered a respectful bow before exiting the office, leaving Naruko to her thoughts. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her. Balancing her duties as Hokage with her personal life had become increasingly complex, especially now that her relationship with Yamato had evolved into something more profound. She leaned back in her chair, her mind racing with strategies and potential outcomes. The recent mission and the blossoming of her relationship with Yamato had already introduced new dynamics into her life. The village looked to her for guidance and protection, and she couldn't afford to let her personal feelings cloud her judgment. Yet, the bond she shared with Yamato provided her with a sense of strength and stability that she had never experienced before. As she pondered the situation, her thoughts were interrupted by the soft chime of her doorbell. She looked up to see Shikamaru Nara, her trusted advisor, entering the room with his characteristic laid-back demeanor. His presence was a reminder of the strong team she had built around her, each member bringing their unique skills and perspectives to the table. "Naruko, I thought you might want to see this," Shikamaru said, holding out a report. "There's been some chatter about the new shinobi in the outskirts. It might be nothing, but it's worth keeping an eye on. Naruko took the report, scanning the contents with practiced ease. Thanks, Shikamaru. I'll review it and coordinate with Yamato. Your insights are always valuable. Shikamaru gave a small nod before taking his leave, leaving Naruko alone once more. She glanced around her office, taking in the symbols of her leadership, the maps, the scrolls, the photos of her friends and allies. Each item held a story, a memory of battles fought and friendships forged. It was a testament to how far she had come and the journey that still lay ahead. Her thoughts drifted to the delicate balance she had to maintain. As Hokage, she had to make decisions that affected the entire village, ensuring peace and prosperity while addressing any threats that arose. But now, with Yamato by her side not just as an ally but as someone she loved, the stakes felt even higher. She wanted to protect him, to cherish him, and to build a future together, all while fulfilling her duties to Konoha. The door to her office opened again. And this time, Yamato re-entered, his expression more serious. Naruko, I think it's time we discuss the upcoming summit with the allied villages. They're expecting us to lead the negotiations, and there are some sensitive issues that need to be addressed. Naruko nodded, rising from her chair to join him at the large conference table in the center of the room. Yes, the summit is crucial. We need to ensure that our alliances remain strong and that we address any lingering tensions. Your experience and diplomacy will be essential in these negotiations. Yamato took a seat, spreading out the documents and agendas for the summit. I prepared a brief on the key points we need to cover. There are some concerns about resource allocation and post-war reconstruction that we'll need to address head-on. As they delved into the preparations, Naruko felt a sense of purpose reaffirmed. Leading the summit was no small task, but with Yamato's support, she felt more confident in her ability to navigate the complexities of diplomacy and leadership. Throughout the day, Naruko moved seamlessly between her administrative duties and her preparations for the summit. She held meetings with various teams, addressing their concerns and ensuring that all aspects of the village's operations were running smoothly. Despite the busyness, she couldn't help but steal glances at Yamato, appreciating his dedication and the subtle ways he showed his support. As evening approached, Naruko decided to take a break and stepped out onto her office balcony. The view of Konoha was breathtaking, the village illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns and the distant lights of neighboring villages. The peaceful scene was a stark contrast to the challenges that lay ahead. Yamato joined her, handing her a cup of tea. You deserve a moment to relax, he said softly. It's been a long day. Naruko accepted the cup, savoring the warmth of the tea in her hands. Thank you, Yamato. Sometimes I forget to take a moment for myself. He stood beside her, the two of them gazing out over the village in comfortable silence. Naruko, you're doing an incredible job. I know the weight of these responsibilities isn't easy, but you're handling it with grace and strength. She looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. I couldn't do it without you, Yamato. Your support means everything to me. Yamato reached out, his hand gently covering hers. We're a team, Naruko. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together. Naruko smiled, feeling the sincerity of his words resonate deeply within her. Yes, together. Their hands remained intertwined, a silent testament to their bond. The challenges ahead were formidable, but with Yamato by her side, Naruko felt a renewed sense of determination. The future was uncertain, but their partnership, both professional and personal, gave her the confidence to lead Konoha towards continued peace and prosperity. As the night deepened, Naruko and Yamato continued their quiet conversation, discussing strategies for the summit and sharing their hopes for the village's future. The balance between their roles as Hokage and as partners was delicate, but they navigated it with mutual respect and understanding. Later that night, as Naruko prepared to retire to her chambers, she reflected on the day's events. The responsibilities of leadership were immense, but so was the support system she had built around her. Friends like Shikamaru, Ino, and Sai, and allies like Yamato, provided her with the strength and wisdom needed to face any obstacle. She walked through the halls of the Hokage Tower, the familiar surroundings offering a sense of comfort and belonging. Her thoughts drifted to the upcoming summit, the new threats on the horizon, and the ever-evolving dynamics of her relationship with Yamato. Each aspect of her life was interwoven, creating a tapestry of duty, love, and friendship. As she reached her chamber, Naruko paused at the door, taking a moment to breathe in the tranquility of her private space. She knew that the days ahead would be challenging, but she also knew that she wasn't alone. With Yamato's unwavering support and the strength of her allies, she was ready to face whatever came her way. Turning off the lights, Naruko settled into her bed, the day's fatigue slowly washing over her. She reached out, finding Yamato's hand nestled beside hers, a comforting presence that brought her peace. "Good night, Yamato," she whispered, her voice filled with affection. "Good night, Naruko," he replied softly, his touch reassuring. As she closed her eyes, Naruko felt a sense of calm settle over her. The challenges ahead were significant, but with love and support, she was confident that she and Yamato could overcome anything. The balance between her duties as Hokage and her personal life was delicate, but it was one she was learning to navigate with grace and strength. The night enveloped her in its quiet embrace, and Naruko drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to face the new day with determination and hope. The bond she shared with Yamato was a source of unwavering support, a beacon of light guiding her through the complexities of leadership and love. Together, they were a formidable team, ready to protect their village and nurture their relationship, no matter what the future held. Chapter 7: The Unexpected Visitor. Setting: Konoha's outskirts. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the sprawling fields that surrounded Konohagakure. The village, still basking in the aftermath of the recent Festival of Lights, hummed with activity as ninjas and villagers went about their daily routines. Among them were Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato, whose relationship had blossomed into a deep and unwavering bond. Their days were a harmonious blend of duty and personal connection, each moment reinforcing the strength of their partnership. Today, however, an air of anticipation lingered between them. Reports of increased activity on the outskirts of the village had reached the Hokage Tower, prompting Naruko to dispatch teams to monitor the area. Yamato, ever the vigilant protector, had taken a personal interest in overseeing the operations, ensuring that no threats went unnoticed. As Naruko reviewed the latest intel in her office, her thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock on the door. She looked up to see Yamato entering, a concerned expression etched on his face. "Naruko," he began, his voice steady yet tinged with urgency, "there's something you need to see." She gestured for him to join her at the desk, where he placed a dossier containing detailed reports and photographs of recent sightings. Naruko scanned the documents swiftly, her mind piecing together the puzzle of the unusual activities. "It appears we've had several sightings of unfamiliar shinobi near the eastern border," Yamato explained. "They've been conducting reconnaissance missions, but their techniques and jutsu are unlike anything we've encountered before." Naruko nodded thoughtfully. This could indicate a new faction emerging, or perhaps remnants of an old alliance trying to re-establish themselves. "We need to investigate further." Before Yamato could respond, the door to Naruko's office swung open once more, revealing a figure cloaked in a dark, flowing garment. The visitor's presence was both commanding and familiar, evoking memories that Naruko couldn't immediately place. "Naruko, Yamato," the visitor greeted, stepping into the room with a measured grace. "It's been a long time." Naruko felt a chill run down her spine as she recognized the individual. The man exuded an aura of authority and mystery, his eyes gleaming with a mix of respect and something else, something that hinted at a shared past. "Reiner," Naruko responded, rising from her seat to greet him. "What brings you to Konoha, after all these years?" Reiner Katsuragi, once a fellow ninja from Yamato's past missions, had left the village under mysterious circumstances. His sudden reappearance was both unexpected and unsettling, stirring questions that Naruko was eager to uncover. Yamato, sensing the tension, stepped forward to offer a handshake. "Reiner, it's good to see you. What can we do for you?" Reiner accepted Yamato's handshake, his grip firm and confident. "Thank you, Yamato." "Naruko." I'm here with important information that concerns all of us. Naruko gestured for Reiner to take a seat. Her curiosity piqued. Please, tell us what's on your mind. Reiner settled into the chair opposite Naruko, his expression serious. I've been tracking a group of rogue shinobi who are seeking to destabilize the peace we've worked so hard to maintain. Their tactics are sophisticated, and their motives are unclear. I believe they're aiming to resurrect an old order that once threatened our very existence. Naruko leaned forward, her eyes narrowing in concentration. Do you have any leads on their identity or objectives? Reiner nodded, producing a small device from his cloak, a compact, high-tech scanner that projected a holographic map onto the desk. Using this, I've been able to intercept their communications and trace their movements. They're operating from an abandoned fortress deep within the Forest of Death, a place long thought to be secure. Yamato glanced at the map, his tactical mind already assessing the situation. The Forest of Death is a treacherous area, but if they're using it as a base, they must have significant resources. This isn't just a group of renegade ninjas, they're organized and well-funded. Naruko's gaze shifted between Reiner and Yamato, the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. We need to act swiftly. If they're planning something big, we must prevent it before it unfolds. Reiner's expression softened slightly, a hint of nostalgia flickering in his eyes. I came here not just as an informant, but as someone who shares a history with Yamato. We were part of the same unit during the missions in the Land of Waves. There's unfinished business between us that I hope we can resolve. Yamato looked at Reiner with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. I wasn't aware of any unresolved matters, Reiner. Are you suggesting we work together on this? Reiner nodded earnestly. Yes. Our combined expertise and shared experiences make us a formidable team. Together, we can dismantle this threat and ensure the safety of Konoha and its allies. Naruko took a moment to consider Reiner's proposal, her mind racing through the implications. Collaborating with someone from Yamato's past brought both advantages and potential complications. However, the urgency of the situation outweighed any reservations. Agreed, she stated decisively. We'll need to mobilize our teams and prepare for a coordinated operation. Reiner, your insights will be invaluable. Reiner offered a grateful smile. Thank you, Naruko. I assure you, I am fully committed to this mission. As the three of them discussed the logistics of the impending operation, the dynamics between Naruko and Yamato subtly shifted. The presence of Reiner introduced a new layer of complexity to their relationship, intertwining professional collaboration with personal history. After the meeting, Naruko and Yamato found themselves alone in the office, the weight of the day's revelation settling between them. Yamato, Naruko began, her voice tinged with both concern and resolve. Reiner's arrival changes things. He and I haven't interacted much since he left, but now that he's back, we have to trust him. Yamato placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Naruko, we need to focus on the mission at hand. Reiner may have valuable information, and his experience could be crucial in dealing with this new threat. Naruko nodded, her eyes meeting Yamato's with a mixture of trust and lingering uncertainty. You're right. We'll handle this together, just as we always do. As the day progressed, preparations for the mission intensified. Teams were briefed, equipment was checked, and strategies were refined. Reiner proved to be an asset, his knowledge of the Forest of Death and his combat skills adding a new dimension to their operations. Despite the professional atmosphere, the underlying tension between Yamato and Reiner was palpable. Memories of past missions and shared hardships subtly influenced their interactions, adding a layer of depth to their collaboration. Naruko observed their dynamic with keen insight, understanding that their history could either strengthen their mission or introduce unforeseen challenges. Later that evening, Naruko decided to take a moment for herself in the tranquil gardens of the Hokage Tower. The moonlight bathed the surroundings in a soft, silvery glow, and the scent of blooming flowers filled the air. She sat on a bench, her thoughts swirling with the day's events and the impending mission. As she pondered the complexities of her role and her relationship with Yamato, she felt a gentle presence beside her. Turning, she found Yamato standing there, his expression thoughtful. "Naruko," he began softly, "are you alright? You've seemed a bit distant today." She smiled, appreciating his concern. "I'm fine, Yamato. Just reflecting on everything that's happening." He sat beside her, his hand finding hers in a comforting gesture. "It's a lot to take in, with Reiner's return and the new threat looming over us. But I have faith in our team and in you." Naruko squeezed his hand, feeling the strength and support emanating from him. "Thank you, Yamato. Your support means the world to me, especially now." They sat in silence, the serenity of the garden providing a much-needed respite from their duties. Naruko leaned her head against Yamato's shoulder, finding solace in his presence. As the night deepened, a shooting star streaked across the sky, its fleeting brilliance a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Naruko closed her eyes, making a silent wish for the success of their mission and the continued strength of their bond. Unbeknownst to them, Reiner had been observing their quiet moment from a distance, the memories of their shared past weighing heavily on his mind. He knew that their success depended not just on their skills as ninjas, but on their ability to trust and support one another, despite the complexities of their histories. The following morning dawned clear and bright, the village of Konoha preparing for the day ahead. Naruko, Yamato, and Reiner gathered with their respective teams, finalizing the plans for their mission into the Forest of Death. The air was thick with determination and anticipation, each member of the team aware of the stakes involved. As they set out towards the outskirts, the path leading into the dense forest loomed before them. The canopy of trees cast long shadows, and the sounds of the wilderness surrounded them, heightening their senses and sharpening their focus. Reiner walked alongside Yamato, their steps synchronized in a silent rhythm. "Yamato," Reiner began, his tone earnest, "I want to apologize for any tension my presence might cause. My return was necessary, and I hope we can put any past grievances aside for the sake of our mission." Yamato glanced at him, his expression unreadable. After a moment, he offered a genuine smile. "No hard feelings, Reiner. We're here to work together, and that's what matters." Naruko walked ahead, her eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. "Stay alert, everyone. This area is known for its unpredictable terrain and wildlife. We need to stay focused and communicate effectively." As they ventured deeper into the Forest of Death, the atmosphere grew more intense. The dense foliage and uneven terrain posed constant challenges, testing the team's endurance and adaptability. Reiner's expertise in navigating such environments proved invaluable, guiding them through the maze-like pathways with ease. Hours passed as they trekked through the wilderness, the forest revealing its secrets one step at a time. Suddenly, the stillness was broken by the distant sound of clashing metal and shouts of combat. The team immediately sprang into action, moving stealthily towards the source of the disturbance. Naruko signaled for the team to take cover behind a cluster of trees, her senses heightened. Yamato and Reiner exchanged a glance before moving forward to assess the situation. As they approached, they saw a group of rogue shinobi engaged in a fierce battle with Konoha's monitoring teams. Without hesitation, Naruko stepped into the fray, her presence commanding and authoritative. "Stop. Konoha ninjas, stand down." The rogue shinobi paused, their leader, a tall figure clad in dark armor, stepping forward to face her. "Naruko Uzumaki," he sneered, recognizing her from past encounters. "You've always been a thorn in our side. Today, that changes." Naruko remained calm. Her eyes locked on his. "We don't want unnecessary conflict. Surrender now, and no one needs to get hurt." The leader laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the forest. "Surrender? Never. We fight for what we believe in, and Konoha will either stand with us or fall against us." As tensions escalated, Reiner and Yamato positioned themselves strategically, ready to support Naruko at a moment's notice. The rogue shinobi prepared to attack, their movements fluid and precise. Naruko took a deep breath, channeling her chakra into a controlled, powerful stance. Yamato, Reiner, back me up on my signal. The leader lunged forward, his attack swift and calculated. Naruko countered effortlessly, her movements a blend of grace and strength. The clash of their techniques sent ripples through the forest, each strike a testament to their formidable skills. Yamato and Reiner moved in tandem, their synchronized efforts overwhelming the rogue ninjas. Yamato's would release techniques created barriers and traps, restricting the enemy's movements, while Reiner engaged in close combat, his agility and precision unmatched. Despite their best efforts, the leader proved to be a formidable opponent, his mastery of obscure jutsu making him a challenging adversary. Naruko, Yamato, and Reiner found themselves working seamlessly, their teamwork honed by years of shared missions and mutual trust. As the battle raged on, Kurama's voice echoed in Naruko's mind, "Stay focused, Naruko. Trust in your bonds." His silent guidance provided her with the clarity and strength needed to push forward. With a final, coordinated effort, the team managed to subdue the rogue shinobi, forcing the leader to retreat into the depths of the forest. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but the encounter left lingering questions about the true intentions behind their actions. Breathing heavily, Naruko surveyed the aftermath of the battle. "We need to secure this area and gather any intelligence we can find. There might be more of them, or they could be regrouping." Reiner nodded, his expression serious. "Agreed. I'll search their camp for any valuable information." Yamato approached Naruko, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You handled that exceptionally well, Naruko." Their leader was skilled, but together, we were able to overcome him. Naruko smiled, the satisfaction of victory tempered by the realization of the challenges that still lay ahead. "Thank you, Yamato. And thank you, Reiner. Your support is invaluable." As they began to sift through the remains of the rogue shinobi's camp, Reiner found a set of encrypted documents and a map indicating other potential hideouts. These could be crucial in understanding their plans and preventing further threats, he remarked. Naruko took the documents, her mind already working through the possibilities. "We need to decode these as soon as possible. It might give us insight into their objectives and help us anticipate their next moves." Yamato offered to assist, his technical expertise proving beneficial in decrypting the files. Together, they worked through the night, piecing together the information and formulating a strategy to counter the emerging threat. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting a rosy glow over the forest, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. The mission had not only tested their skills but also strengthened the bonds that tied them together. Naruko, Yamato, and Reiner stood side by side, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them with unwavering determination. Back in Konoha, the news of their success was met with relief and gratitude. The village, though still recovering from past conflicts, found solace in the strength and unity of its leaders and protectors. Naruko's leadership, complemented by Yamato's steadfast support and Reiner's invaluable insights, ensured that Konoha remained a beacon of peace and resilience. Later that evening, as the team gathered for a well-deserved rest, Naruko found herself reflecting on the day's events. The unexpected return of Reiner had brought both challenges and opportunities, revealing facets of Yamato's past that she had only glimpsed before. The complexity of their shared history added depth to their relationship, highlighting the layers of trust and understanding that had developed over time. Yamato approached her, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Naruko, there's something I've been meaning to discuss with you." She looked up, her curiosity piqued. "What is it, Yamato?" He took a deep breath, his eyes meeting hers with a mixture of vulnerability and resolve. "Reiner's return has stirred up memories I thought were long buried. Our past missions together were some of the most challenging times of my life, and having him back brings those emotions to the surface." Naruko reached out, placing a comforting hand on his arm. "Yamato, you've always been strong and capable. Whatever you're feeling, you don't have to face it alone." He smiled softly, appreciating her support. "Thank you, Naruko. It means a lot to have you by my side." As the night settled in, the two of them shared a quiet moment, the bonds of their relationship proving to be a source of strength and comfort amidst the uncertainties of their missions and the complexities of their pasts. The unexpected visitor had not only brought new challenges, but had also deepened the connections between Naruko and Yamato, highlighting the enduring power of trust and love in the face of adversity. Together, they stood ready to protect their village and each other, forging a path forward with unwavering determination and a bond that could withstand any storm. Chapter 8, Testing Boundaries. Setting, hidden in the Forest of Death. The Forest of Death loomed ahead, its dense canopy casting deep shadows that danced with the movements of the towering trees. The air was thick with humidity, the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves filling Naruko Uzumaki's nostrils. The forest was notorious for its perilous terrain and the myriad of dangerous creatures that called it home. It was a place where only the most skilled and courageous ninjas dared to venture, and today, Naruko and Yamato had embarked on one of their most challenging missions yet. Naruko adjusted her Hokage cloak, ensuring it wouldn't impede her movements as they navigated the treacherous path. Her bright blue eyes scanned their surroundings, ever vigilant for any signs of danger. Yamato, her steadfast partner, moved with his usual calm demeanor, his keen senses attuned to the slightest disturbances in the environment. "Stay close," Yamato instructed, his voice low and steady. "The Forest of Death is unpredictable. We need to remain alert at all times." Naruko nodded, her heart pounding with a mix of adrenaline and determination. This mission was crucial, not only for the safety of Konoha, but also for the burgeoning relationship she shared with Yamato. The trust and reliance they had built over time were being put to the test in this unforgiving wilderness. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the canopy above thickened, blocking out much of the sunlight and plunging them into a dimly lit world. The sounds of their footsteps on the forest floor were muffled by the dense underbrush, allowing only the occasional rustle of leaves or distant calls of nocturnal creatures to break the silence. Naruko's thoughts drifted to their recent encounters and the evolving dynamics between her and Yamato. Their relationship had grown stronger, their bond deepening with each mission they undertook together. Yet, the challenges they faced in the Forest of Death were pushing them to their limits, both physically and emotionally. "We need to find the ancient scrolls hidden in the heart of this forest," Naruko reminded Yamato, pulling out a map adorned with intricate markings and symbols. "They contain valuable information that could help us understand the new threats facing Konoha." Yamato examined the map, his expression thoughtful. "According to this, the scrolls are located near the old shrine. It's a risky endeavor, but if we can secure them, it will provide us with the knowledge we need to protect the village." Naruko felt a surge of determination. "Then we don't have a choice. We have to proceed carefully and stay focused." As they continued their journey, the forest seemed to come alive around them. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and shadows shifted in the corners of their vision. The path became narrower, winding through dense foliage and over uneven terrain, testing their agility and endurance. "Naruko, be cautious," Yamato warned, his eyes darting to the shadows as a rustling sound approached them. "We might have company." Before she could respond, a group of hostile shinobi emerged from the underbrush, their eyes filled with malice and determination. They were members of a rogue faction seeking to undermine Konoha's stability, their intentions clear as they brandished weapons and prepared to engage in combat. Naruko's heart raced, but her training and instincts took over. She swiftly assumed a combat stance, her chakra pulsating around her in a protective barrier. Yamato mirrored her movements, his own chakra forming intricate patterns as he prepared to counter the incoming threat. "Stay behind me," Naruko instructed Yamato, her voice firm despite the tension. "I'll handle this." Yamato nodded, his trust in her unwavering. "Understood. I'll provide support and cover your back." The rogue shinobi lunged forward, their attacks swift and aggressive. Naruko responded with a series of precise jutsu, her movements a blend of grace and power. Flames erupted from her palms, engulfing her opponents in searing heat, while bolts of lightning crackled through the air, neutralizing any who dared to advance. Yamato utilized his would-release techniques, creating barriers and entangling his adversaries in a web of interwoven vines. His control over nature allowed him to manipulate the environment, turning the forest itself into an ally against the hostile forces. The battle was intense, each side fighting with determination and skill. Naruko and Yamato moved in perfect harmony, their teamwork seamless and efficient. Despite the chaos around them, their connection remained strong, each action complementing the other in a display of unity and strength. As the last of the rogue shinobi was subdued, Naruko and Yamato took a moment to catch their breath, their bodies glistening with sweat and their breaths heavy from the exertion. "That was close," Yamato remarked, his voice steady but tinged with concern. "We need to be more cautious. They might not be alone." Naruko nodded, her mind already strategizing their next move. "Agreed. Let's secure the area and look for any signs of their plans." Together, they scoured the surroundings, uncovering clues that hinted at a larger conspiracy at play. Hidden symbols and coded messages indicated that the rogue faction was part of a more extensive network, one that sought to destabilize the balance of power within the shinobi world. As they pieced together the information, a sense of urgency settled over them. The mission had become more critical than ever, and the stakes were higher. Naruko's thoughts turned to the responsibility she bore as Hokage and to the man who stood by her side through it all. "Yamato," she began, her voice soft yet resolute, "this mission isn't just about protecting the village. It's about ensuring that the peace we've worked so hard to achieve remains intact." Yamato reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I understand, Naruko. We're in this together, and we'll do whatever it takes to safeguard our home." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the depth of their connection was palpable. The challenges they faced only served to strengthen their bond, reinforcing the trust and reliance they had built over time. It was a testament to their unwavering commitment to each other and to the village they both loved. As they pressed on towards the old shrine, the forest's ambience shifted, becoming more serene yet still holding an undercurrent of danger. The shrine stood as a relic of a bygone era, its architecture weathered by time and nature. Vines and moss clung to its stone surfaces, and the air was thick with a sense of ancient power. Naruko approached the shrine cautiously, her senses heightened. "We need to be careful. The scrolls are likely protected by powerful jutsu and traps." Yamato nodded, his eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. "Let's proceed with caution. I'll take the lead in disarming any traps we encounter." They moved together, navigating the shrine's intricate layout with precision and teamwork. Each step was measured, every movement deliberate as they worked to uncover the hidden scrolls without triggering any defenses. As they delved deeper into the shrine, they encountered a series of challenges that tested their skills and their bond. Illusory barriers materialized before them, forcing Naruko and Yamato to work together to dispel the illusions and reveal the true path forward. Each obstacle required a combination of their unique abilities, highlighting the strength of their partnership. At one point, a particularly complex jutsu challenge appeared, an elaborate illusion designed to confuse and disorient intruders. Naruko and Yamato found themselves separated within the illusion, each facing their own fears and doubts. Naruko stood alone in a vast, empty chamber, the walls echoing with silence. She felt a pang of loneliness and uncertainty, the challenges of leadership weighing heavily on her shoulders. Memories of past missions and the faces of those she loved flooded her mind, causing her to question her own strength and resolve. "Naruko, you are not alone," Kurama's voice echoed in her mind, a silent reminder of the bond she shared with the Nine Tails. "Trust in your heart and those who support you." Drawing strength from Kurama's guidance, Naruko summoned her chakra, dispelling the illusion and reuniting with Yamato at the center of the chamber. "We need to stay focused," she said, her voice steady despite the lingering doubts. "These challenges are designed to test us, but we can overcome them together." Yamato nodded, his presence a comforting anchor. "We've faced worse before. Let's push forward." Together, they continued their journey through the shrine, their determination unwavering. The final chamber awaited them, its entrance guarded by a powerful barrier that pulsed with energy. Naruko and Yamato knew that within lay the ancient scrolls they had been seeking, but accessing them would require all their skill and cooperation. Naruko, I'll handle the barrier, Yamato offered, stepping forward with confidence. You focus on securing the scrolls once we're through. Naruko smiled, her trust in him absolute. You take care of the barrier. I'll be ready. Yamato extended his hand, chakra swirling around his palm as he prepared to dismantle the barrier. The air crackled with energy as he channeled his would-release techniques, weaving intricate patterns that countered the barrier's defenses. The force of his jutsu was impressive, and the barrier began to weaken under his precise control. As the barrier dissipated, Naruko moved forward, her eyes fixed on the ornate pedestal at the center of the chamber. The ancient scrolls lay there, their surfaces inscribed with intricate symbols and guarded by powerful protective jutsu. She approached cautiously, her hands outstretched to absorb any residual energy that might pose a threat. Be careful, Yamato cautioned, his gaze never leaving the barrier's remnants. Naruko nodded, her focus intense as she began to dismantle the protective jutsu around the scrolls. Her chakra flowed through her fingers, unraveling the complex spells with practiced ease. As she secured the scrolls, she felt a surge of accomplishment and relief, the mission nearing its successful completion. Got them, she announced, holding up the scrolls for Yamato to see. Yamato approached, his eyes reflecting pride and admiration. Excellent work, Naruko. Let's get out of here before anything else happens. As they made their way back through the shrine, the challenges they had faced served as a testament to their unwavering partnership. Each obstacle had reinforced their reliance on one another, highlighting the depth of their connection, both as ninjas and as partners in life. Emerging from the shrine, they were greeted by the sight of their teams waiting patiently at the edge of the forest. The mission had been a success, and the scrolls would provide invaluable insights into the new threats facing Konoha. Naruko felt a sense of relief wash over her, the burdens of leadership momentarily lifted by the accomplishment of their mission. As they walked back to the village, the forest of death receding behind them, Naruko and Yamato shared a moment of quiet reflection. The challenges they had faced had tested their skills and their bond, but they had emerged stronger and more united than ever. Naruko, Yamato began, his voice soft but filled with conviction. Today was one of our toughest missions yet, but we pulled through because we trusted each other. Our bond is unbreakable. Naruko smiled, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of gratitude and love. Yes, it is. We've faced so much together, and I wouldn't want to face it with anyone else but you. Their journey through the forest of death had not only secured valuable information for Konoha, but had also deepened the emotional and physical connection between them. The mission had pushed them to their limits, forcing them to rely on each other's strengths and support each other's weaknesses. It was a profound reminder of the power of their partnership and the love that bound them together. As they approached the outskirts of Konoha, the village welcomed them with open arms, the sight of their friends and allies filling them with a sense of pride and accomplishment. The success of the mission was celebrated, and the scrolls were swiftly analyzed by the village's scholars and strategists, the information they contained proving instrumental in countering the emerging threats. Later that evening, Naruko and Yamato found themselves alone in the tranquility of their shared quarters, the day's events still fresh in their minds. They sat together, the silence between them comfortable and filled with unspoken understanding. Today reminded me of how strong we are together, Yamato said, his fingers gently entwining with Naruko's. No matter what challenges come our way, we can handle them as long as we have each other. Naruko leaned into his touch, her heart swelling with emotion. I agree. Our bond is our greatest strength, both on and off the battlefield. As they sat in the quiet of the evening, Naruko felt a profound sense of contentment. The mission had tested their limits, but it had also reaffirmed the depth of their connection. She reached out, pulling Yamato closer, their foreheads touching in a gesture of intimacy and trust. Yamato, she whispered, her voice filled with affection, thank you for always being by my side. For supporting me and trusting me. I couldn't ask for a better partner. Yamato's eyes met hers, a gentle smile gracing his lips. Thank you, Naruko. Your strength and leadership inspire me every day. I'm grateful to have you in my life. Their conversation drifted into comfortable silence, the bond they shared providing a sense of peace and reassurance. The challenges they had faced had only strengthened their relationship, and they looked forward to the future with hope and determination. As the night deepened, Naruko and Yamato found solace in each other's presence, the love they shared a beacon of light guiding them through the complexities of their roles and the uncertainties of the shinobi world. Together, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, their bond unbreakable and their hearts entwined in a love that would endure all trials. Chapter 9, Heartfelt Reunion. Setting, Konoha Central Park. The early evening sun cast a warm, golden hue over Konoha's Central Park, transforming it into a picturesque haven of serenity and beauty. The park, a beloved retreat for villagers seeking respite from their daily routines, was alive with the sounds of laughter, children playing, and the gentle rustling of leaves in the breeze. Lanterns hung from the trees, swaying softly and adding a touch of magic to the already enchanting atmosphere. Naruko Uzumaki walked along the winding path, her Hokage cloak billowing gracefully behind her. The recent missions and the blossoming of her relationship with Yamato had left her feeling both fulfilled and content. Today, however, was special, not only because it was a rare moment of peace, but also because she was meeting with Yamato and their closest friends for a well-deserved reunion. Yamato awaited her near the central fountain, his calm demeanor a reassuring presence amidst the vibrant surroundings. His eyes met hers with a warm smile, reflecting the deep bond they shared. "Naruko," he greeted, his voice steady and filled with genuine happiness. "It's good to see you." Naruko returned his smile, her heart swelling with affection. "It's good to see you too, Yamato. I'm glad we could all make it today." As they approached each other, Shikamaru Nara stepped forward, his laid-back attitude softened by the joy of the gathering. "Naruko, Yamato, it's been too long," he remarked, his voice carrying a hint of playful sarcasm that was characteristic of his personality. Ino Yamanaka followed closely behind, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We've missed you both. It's not the same without you around." Sai, ever the quiet observer, nodded in agreement, a rare smile gracing his lips. "Indeed. It's a perfect opportunity to catch up and enjoy some time together." Naruko felt a surge of gratitude for her friends, their unwavering support playing a crucial role in her ability to lead and maintain her relationship with Yamato. "I'm glad you all could join us. It's important to take these moments to reconnect and relax." As the group settled onto the comfortable benches that lined the park, the conversation flowed effortlessly. Stories from recent missions, updates on village affairs, and light-hearted banter filled the air, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie and mutual respect. "How have things been since the last mission?" Shikamaru inquired, leaning back with his trademark casual posture. Naruko exchanged a glance with Yamato before responding. "Things have been busy but manageable. We've been focusing on strengthening our defenses and ensuring that the peace we've achieved remains intact." Yamato nodded, adding, "And personal matters have been going well too. Naruko and I have been working on balancing our professional and personal lives, which has been a rewarding challenge." Ino giggled, nudging Sai playfully. "Always the dedicated couple, aren't you too?" Sai offered a rare chuckle. "Their commitment is admirable. It's inspiring to see how they support each other both on and off the battlefield." Naruko blushed slightly at the attention but felt a deep sense of happiness. "Thank you, Sai. It's been a journey, but having Yamato by my side has made all the difference." As the evening progressed, the group decided to take a leisurely stroll through the park, the soft glow of the lanterns guiding their way. The path led them to a secluded area near the pond, where koi fish gracefully swam beneath the surface, their movements creating ripples that mirrored the gentle flow of their conversations. Naruko and Yamato found themselves walking hand in hand, the connection between them palpable. The recent challenges they had faced only served to strengthen their bond, and moments like these were cherished opportunities to deepen their relationship further. "Yamato," Naruko began, her voice soft yet filled with determination, "I wanted to thank you for everything you've done. Your support and understanding have been invaluable, especially with everything that's been happening." Yamato stopped walking, turning to face her fully. His eyes held a mixture of admiration and affection. "Naruko, you don't have to thank me. We're partners, in every sense of the word. Your leadership and strength inspire me every day." She felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words, the sincerity in his voice touching her deeply. "I couldn't ask for a better partner. Whether it's protecting the village or building our future together, I know I can always count on you." Yamato smiled, his thumb gently caressing the back of her hand. "And I feel the same way about you. Together, there's nothing we can't overcome." Their moment of intimacy was interrupted by Shikamaru's playful call. "Hey, lovebirds! Over here." Naruko and Yamato laughed, releasing each other's hands as they rejoined the group. The sight of their friends brought a renewed sense of joy and belonging, reinforcing the importance of the bonds they shared. As the night sky darkened, the group gathered near the pond for the park's evening light show, a mesmerizing display of lanterns being released into the air, each carrying the hopes and dreams of the villagers. The lanterns floated upwards, their lights reflecting off the water and creating a breathtaking spectacle. Naruko and Yamato stood side by side, watching as the lanterns drifted into the sky. The peaceful scene was a poignant reminder of the harmony they worked so hard to maintain within the village. "Every lantern represents a wish," Shikamaru explained, gesturing towards the floating lights. "It's a beautiful tradition that symbolizes our hopes for the future." Naruko nodded, her gaze fixed on the lanterns as they ascended. "It's moments like these that remind us why we fight, to preserve peace and ensure a bright future for everyone." Yamato squeezed her hand gently, their fingers intertwined. "And with friends like these, I believe we can achieve anything." As the last of the lanterns disappeared into the night sky, the group shared a collective sense of contentment. The challenges they faced were numerous, but the strength of their relationships provided the resilience needed to overcome any obstacle. In the quiet that followed the light show, Naruko found herself alone with Yamato once more. They stood a short distance away from the group, the sounds of celebration fading into the background as they embraced the tranquility of the moment. "Yamato," Naruko began, her voice filled with emotion, "today was perfect. Being surrounded by our friends and seeing the village so peaceful, it reinforces why our work is so important." Yamato pulled her closer, his eyes meeting hers with unwavering support. "I'm glad you feel that way, Naruko. Our friends are our strength, and having them by our side makes everything we do more meaningful." She rested her head against his shoulder, feeling a profound sense of peace. "Yes, it does. And I couldn't imagine going through all of this without you." Yamato kissed the top of her head gently, his touch soothing and comforting. "We'll continue to protect what we've built together, and our bond will only grow stronger with each passing day." As they stood together, watching the stars twinkle above, Naruko felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life she had in Konoha. The challenges, the missions, the love and support of her friends and Yamato, all of it created a tapestry of experiences that shaped her into the leader and person she had become. The evening air was cool and refreshing, carrying with it the promise of new beginnings and the enduring strength of their bonds. Naruko and Yamato knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, their hearts intertwined in a love that was as steadfast as the village they called home. Chapter 10, Kurama's Advice. Setting, Naruko's home. The morning sun streamed through the sliding doors of Naruko Uzumaki's home, casting a warm, golden glow across the meticulously arranged interior. The blend of traditional Konoha architecture and modern comforts created a harmonious sanctuary, a place where Naruko could find solace away from the bustling duties of her role as Hokage. The aroma of freshly brewed tea wafted through the air, mingling with the subtle scent of blooming cherry blossoms from the garden outside. Naruko sat at her low, wooden table, a steaming cup of tea cradled in her hands. Her bright blue eyes were fixed on the delicate patterns swirling within the liquid, her thoughts drifting to the complexities of her recent interactions and the ever-deepening bond with Yamato. The weight of leadership often felt overwhelming, but moments like these, quiet and introspective, provided her with the clarity she needed to navigate her responsibilities. As she contemplated her thoughts, a familiar warmth enveloped her consciousness. Naruko, you've been carrying a heavy burden lately. It's time to let go and embrace the support around you. Kurama's voice resonated softly in her mind, his wisdom intertwining with her innermost feelings. Naruko closed her eyes, allowing herself to sink deeper into the moment. Kurama, how do I reconcile my duties with my personal life? How do I ensure that my responsibilities as Hokage don't overshadow the love I have for Yamato? She pondered silently. The room seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light as Kurama's presence became more pronounced. Trust in your heart, Naruko. Your strength lies not only in your abilities, but also in the connections you forge. Embrace the love you share with Yamato, for it fuels your resilience and compassion. Naruko opened her eyes, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. You're right, Kurama. I need to find a balance between my duties and my personal life. Yamato's support is invaluable, and I shouldn't take it for granted. Just then, the sound of footsteps approaching reached her ears. Yamato entered the room, his expression gentle, yet filled with concern. Naruko, he greeted softly, taking a seat across from her. You seem deep in thought. She smiled, gesturing for him to join her at the table. Good morning, Yamato. I was just reflecting on some things, with a little help from Kurama. Yamato returned her smile, reaching out to place his hand over hers. I'm glad you're finding some clarity. You've been handling everything exceptionally well. Naruko felt a surge of warmth at his touch, the connection between them palpable. Thank you, Yamato. Your support means everything to me. Sometimes, with all the responsibilities, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. He squeezed her hand reassuringly. That's why it's important to take moments like these. To step back and breathe. To remind ourselves why we do what we do. She nodded, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of gratitude and affection. Exactly. And having you by my side makes all the difference. Your presence grounds me and gives me the strength to keep pushing forward. Yamato leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. Naruko, remember that you don't have to shoulder everything alone. We're a team, in every sense of the word. Whether it's leading the village or building our future together, we face it all together. Naruko felt her heart swell with emotion. I know, Yamato. And I'm grateful for that. Your unwavering support is something I cherish deeply. He reached out, gently lifting her chin so their eyes met. Naruko, your strength and compassion inspire me every day. I want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what challenges come our way. She took a deep breath, her feelings laid bare between them. Yamato, I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and how it's evolved. It's not just about friendship anymore. I care about you deeply, more than words can express. Yamato's eyes softened, his affection evident. Naruko, I feel the same way. Our bond has grown so much, and I can't imagine my life without you in it. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, the depth of their connection enveloping them. Naruko felt a sense of peace wash over her, the doubts and fears that had lingered now replaced by unwavering certainty. Trust in your heart, Naruko. Embrace the love you share. Kurama's silent guidance echoed in her mind, reinforcing the truth of her feelings. Yamato reached out, pulling her gently into an embrace. We'll navigate everything together, Naruko. Our love only makes us stronger. She nestled into his embrace, feeling the steady beat of his heart against hers. Yes, together. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it hand in hand. As they held each other, the world outside faded away, leaving only the two of them in their shared moment of intimacy and understanding. The challenges of leadership and the complexities of their relationship no longer seemed insurmountable, for they had each other to lean on. Later that evening, Naruko and Yamato decided to take a leisurely stroll through the gardens, the moonlight casting a silvery glow on the blooming flowers. The tranquility of the night provided the perfect backdrop for their conversation, allowing them to delve deeper into their hopes and dreams for the future. Yamato, Naruko began, her voice soft yet filled with determination, I've been thinking about our future together. About how we can continue to support each other while fulfilling our duties to the village. He nodded. his expression thoughtful. I've been considering the same thing. Maybe we can designate certain times for ourselves, moments where we can just be together without the pressures of our roles. She smiled, the idea resonating with her deeply. I like that. Having dedicated time for each other will help us maintain the balance we need. Yamato reached out, taking her hand once more. And no matter how busy things get, we'll always find a way to prioritize us. Our relationship is just as important as any mission or duty. Naruko felt a profound sense of gratitude and love for him. Thank you, Yamato. Your understanding and support mean everything to me. They continued their walk, the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant sounds of the village, creating a soothing melody around them. As they reached a secluded bench under a blooming cherry blossom tree, Yamato turned to face her, his eyes filled with unwavering commitment. Naruko, I want to build a future with you, a future where we can support each other in every aspect of our lives. Both personally and professionally. She felt her heart race at his words, the sincerity in his voice, touching her deeply. Yamato, I want that too. To create a life where we can grow together, overcome challenges, and cherish every moment. They sat side by side, their hands intertwined, gazing up at the star-studded sky. The night was calm and serene, a reflection of the peace they sought in their lives. The bond they shared was unbreakable, forged through years of friendship, trust, and love. As the night wore on, they shared stories of their past missions, their dreams for the future, and the hopes they held for their relationship. Each conversation, each shared silence, only served to deepen their connection, solidifying the foundation upon which their love was built. Embrace the love you share. Kurama's silent advice lingered in Naruko's mind, a reminder of the strength she drew from both her bond with Yamato and her connection with the Nine Tails. As they prepared to return to the village, Naruko felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The challenges ahead were daunting, but with Yamato by her side and the support of her friends and allies, she knew they could overcome anything. Walking back through the gardens, hand in hand, Naruko and Yamato felt a sense of unity and resilience. Their love was a beacon of hope, guiding them through the complexities of their roles and the uncertainties of the future. Together, they were unstoppable, a testament to the power of trust, love, and unwavering support. As they reached the edge of the garden, Yamato turned to her with a gentle smile. Naruko, thank you for sharing this moment with me. It's moments like these that remind me why we do what we do. She smiled in return, her eyes shining with affection. Thank you, Yamato. For everything. I couldn't ask for a better partner. With that, they stepped out into the night, the village of Konoha welcoming them with its soft lights and the promise of a peaceful future. The journey ahead was filled with challenges, but Naruko and Yamato faced it together, their bond unbreakable and their hearts entwined in a love that would endure all trials. Chapter 11, A New Threat. Setting, Konoha's outskirts. The crisp morning air of Konohagakure was a stark contrast to the unease that had settled over the village in recent weeks. Reports of unusual activities on the outskirts had become more frequent, each one more troubling than the last. The Hokage Tower buzzed with activity as shinobi from various teams gathered to discuss the escalating situation. Naruko Uzumaki, now a respected Hokage, stood at the forefront of the meeting, her bright blue eyes scanning the room filled with concerned faces. Beside her stood Yamato, her steadfast partner, whose calm demeanor provided a reassuring presence amidst the tension. Thank you all for coming on such short notice, Naruko began, her voice steady and authoritative. We've received multiple reports of rogue shinobi movements near the eastern border. These groups are highly organized and possess skills that suggest they aren't ordinary renegades. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Shikamaru Nara, her trusted advisor, leaned forward, his fingers steepled thoughtfully. Our intel indicates that these rogue groups are coordinating under a central command. Their objectives seem to align with destabilizing our defenses and undermining our alliances with neighboring villages. Ino Yamanaka, always the voice of optimism, chimed in, if that's the case, we need to strengthen our surveillance and increase our patrols in those areas. We can't afford to let them gain any ground. Naruko nodded, appreciating Ino's proactive approach. Agreed. Team 7, along with Yamato and Shikamaru, will lead the initial reconnaissance missions. We'll need to gather more information before we can devise a comprehensive strategy. As the meeting progressed, the gravity of the situation became increasingly apparent. The rogue shinobi were not only a threat to Konoha but also to the fragile peace that had been painstakingly maintained since the Fourth Great Ninja War. The stakes were higher than ever, and the responsibility weighed heavily on Naruko's shoulders. After the meeting, Naruko and Yamato retreated to a quiet corner of the Hokage Tower, away from the bustling activity. The room was dimly lit, with only the soft glow of lanterns providing illumination. Naruko leaned against the window, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the sun began to rise, casting a golden hue over the village. Yamato, she began softly, breaking the silence. These new threats, they remind me of the times we faced the rogue factions during the war. The difference now is that they're more organized and their motives seem more personal. Yamato approached her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Naruko, you've handled every challenge with grace and strength. I have no doubt that we'll be able to counter this threat effectively. She sighed, the weight of leadership evident in her expression. It's not just about protecting the village anymore. It's about ensuring that the peace we've achieved remains intact. These rogue groups could tear everything apart if we're not careful. Yamato nodded, his eyes meeting hers with unwavering support. We'll face this together, just as we always have. Our bond gives us the strength to overcome any obstacle. Their conversation was interrupted by the soft chime of the doorbell. Naruko turned to see Shikamaru entering the room, a stack of reports in his hands. Naruko, Yamato, he greeted, his tone serious. I've compiled the latest intel from our reconnaissance missions. There are signs that these rogue groups are seeking to harness forbidden jutsu to gain an upper hand. Naruko took the reports from Shikamaru, her eyes scanning the documents quickly. Forbidden jutsu? That's a dangerous path to tread. If they succeed, the consequences could be catastrophic. Shikamaru sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. We've also detected a pattern in their attacks. They seem to be targeting strategic locations, training grounds, supply depots, and communication towers. It's as if they're trying to cripple our infrastructure. Ino stepped forward, her expression determined. We need to disrupt their operations before they can execute their plans. Team 7 and our other squads should prioritize these targets. Naruko looked up from the reports, her mind racing with strategies. Absolutely. We need to be proactive rather than reactive. Preventing their attacks will give us the upper hand. Yamato interjected, Naruko, do you think there's a specific leader orchestrating these attacks? Someone with significant power and influence? Naruko pondered the question, her mind sifting through the information. It's possible. The level of coordination and the use of forbidden jutsu suggest that they have a central figure guiding them. Identifying and neutralizing this leader should be our primary objective. As the day progressed, the Hokage Tower transformed into a hub of strategic planning. Maps were spread across tables, dotted with markers indicating rogue shinobi activity. Teams were assigned specific missions, each one meticulously planned to ensure maximum efficiency and minimal collateral damage. Naruko found herself at the center of it all. Her leadership qualities shining through as she navigated the complexities of the situation. Yamato remained by her side, his support unwavering as he offered insights and suggestions based on his extensive experience. Later that evening, as the sun set and the village settled into the quiet rhythm of night, Naruko and Yamato decided to take a break from their duties. They walked hand in hand through the serene gardens of the Hokage Tower, the soft glow of lanterns casting a romantic ambience around them. Yamato, Naruko began, her voice gentle, I can't help but feel a sense of déjà vu with these new threats. It brings back memories of the battles we fought during the war. Yamato nodded, squeezing her hand reassuringly. Yes, but we've grown stronger since then. We have more allies, better strategies, and a deeper understanding of what we're fighting for. She smiled, leaning into his embrace. you're right. And with you by my side, I feel more confident than ever in our ability to protect Konoha. Their conversation was a comforting reminder of the bond they shared, a bond that had only deepened over time. The challenges they faced were formidable, but together, they were a force to be reckoned with. As they continued their walk, they were joined by Sai, who had been quietly observing them from a distance. You two seem deep in thought. Everything all right? Naruko looked up, her smile reassuring. Yes, Sai. We're just reflecting on the recent developments and planning our next steps. Sai nodded, his expression understanding. It's good to see you both taking some time to relax. Sometimes, stepping back can provide valuable perspective. They reached a secluded bench nestled beneath a blooming cherry blossom tree, the petals gently falling around them like soft pink snow. Naruko sat down, gesturing for Yamato and Sai to join her. Thank you for being here, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Your presence means a lot to us. Yamato took a seat beside her, his eyes filled with affection. Of course. We're all in this together. Sai settled beside them, his demeanor calm and supportive. Absolutely. The strength of our bonds will see us through these challenges. As they sat together, the tranquility of the garden provided a momentary respite from the looming threats. They shared stories, laughed at shared memories, and offered words of encouragement, reinforcing the unity that was essential for the battles ahead. Naruko looked around at her friends and allies, feeling a deep sense of pride and gratitude. We're fortunate to have such a strong support system. With all of you by our side, I believe we can overcome anything. Yamato nodded, his gaze unwavering. We will protect our village and each other. Our bonds are our greatest strength. The night deepened, and the stars began to twinkle in the clear sky, a silent witness to their unwavering determination. Naruko and Yamato knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but with their friends and each other, they were ready to face whatever threats emerged. As they rose from the bench and began their walk back to the Hokage Tower, Naruko felt a renewed sense of purpose. The new threats were serious, but the unity and strength of her team gave her the confidence to lead effectively. She glanced at Yamato, his presence a constant source of strength and comfort. Let's rest tonight and prepare for tomorrow, she suggested, her voice firm yet gentle. We need to be at our best to counter these threats. Yamato smiled, his eyes meeting hers with unwavering support. Agreed. We'll face this together, just as we always have. As they walked side by side, the bonds of friendship and love intertwined, creating a tapestry of resilience and hope. The challenges ahead were daunting, but Naruko and Yamato were ready to confront them head-on, fortified by the strength of their relationships and the unwavering support of their friends and allies. The village of Konoha slept peacefully under the watchful eyes of its protectors, unaware of the battles that awaited them. But within the heart of the Hokage Tower, strategies were being devised, alliances were being strengthened. And the unbreakable bonds of love and friendship were serving as the foundation upon which the village would stand strong against any new threat. Chapter 12, Love and Adversity. Setting, Konoha's Hospital. The first light of dawn filtered through the tall windows of Konoha's hospital, casting a gentle glow across the sterile white corridors. The air was filled with the soft hum of medical equipment and the quiet footsteps of nurses and doctors attending to their duties. It was a place of healing and hope, where the scars of battle were tended to and lives were mended. Naruko Uzumaki lay on a padded bed in one of the private recovery rooms, her body still aching from the fierce battle that had raged just hours before. Her Hokage cloak had been hastily shed in favor of a comfortable hospital gown, and the remnants of bruises and minor cuts adorned her skin. Despite the physical pain, her bright blue eyes held a resilient spirit, reflecting her unwavering determination and inner strength. Beside her, Yamato rested comfortably, his injuries less severe, but still present. His usually composed demeanor was softened by the vulnerability that came with being injured. The two had fought side by side against the new threat that had emerged, their teamwork and trust once again proving vital to their victory. Now, in the quiet aftermath, they found themselves in a different kind of battle, one of healing and emotional reconnection. The door to the recovery room opened gently, and a nurse stepped inside with a warm smile. "Good morning, Naruko-san. How are you feeling today?" Naruko offered a faint smile in return. "Better, thank you. Just a bit sore." The nurse nodded, checking her vitals, before moving on. "If you need anything, don't hesitate to call. I'll be back later for your medication." As the nurse left, Naruko glanced over at Yamato, who was gazing thoughtfully at her. "How are you holding up?" she asked softly. Yamato returned her gaze with a reassuring smile. "I'm okay. The injuries aren't too bad. Thanks to you, we managed to handle everything smoothly." Naruko felt a surge of gratitude. "We make a good team, don't we?" He chuckled softly. "Yes, we do. I couldn't have asked for a better partner." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, the only sounds being the distant chatter of patients and the occasional beep of medical devices. The intensity of the recent battle still lingered in their minds, but here, in the peaceful confines of the hospital room, they could finally breathe and reflect. Naruko reached out, taking Yamato's hand in hers. "Yamato, I wanted to thank you for everything today. Your support and strength were crucial." Yamato squeezed her hand gently. "And I want to thank you, Naruko. Your leadership and courage inspire me every day." She smiled, her heart swelling with affection. "We've been through so much together, and every challenge only strengthens our bond." Yamato leaned closer, his eyes meeting hers with unwavering sincerity. "Naruko, I want you to know how much you mean to me. Not just as a Hokage or a teammate, but as someone I deeply care about." Naruko's breath caught in her throat, the weight of his words settling warmly in her heart. "Yamato, I've been feeling the same way. Being here with you, recovering after the battle, made me realize just how important you are to me." He raised his free hand to gently cup her cheek, his touch tender and comforting. "We've faced so many dangers together, and through it all, you've been my anchor. I can't imagine facing the future without you by my side." Tears welled in Naruko's eyes, touched by his heartfelt confession. "I feel the same way. Your presence gives me strength and peace. I don't know what I'd do without you." Yamato leaned in, his forehead resting against hers in a gesture of deep connection. "We'll continue to support each other, no matter what comes our way. Our bond is unbreakable." Naruko closed her eyes, savoring the moment. The battles they had fought were numerous and fierce, but the love and trust they shared were their greatest weapons. In the face of adversity, their relationship had only grown stronger, a beacon of hope and resilience. The quiet was broken by the soft chime of the doorbell. The door to the recovery room opened, and Shikamaru Nara stepped inside, a stack of papers in his hands. "Morning, Naruko." "Yamato. How are we feeling today?" Naruko smiled, gesturing for him to join them. "Good morning, Shikamaru. We're doing well, thanks." Shikamaru approached the table, laying the papers down with a sigh. "I've been going over the latest intel from our reconnaissance missions. It looks like the rogue factions are regrouping and possibly planning a second wave of attacks." Yamato's expression turned serious. "We need to stay vigilant. We can't afford to let our guard down, not now." Naruko nodded, her resolve unwavering. "Absolutely. We'll increase our patrols and continue gathering intelligence. Shikamaru, please coordinate with the other teams to ensure we're covering all possible angles." He gave a brief nod before taking his leave, leaving Naruko and Yamato alone once more. The revelation of another potential threat only reinforced the importance of their bond and their commitment to protecting Konoha. As the day progressed, Naruko and Yamato returned to their respective duties, their minds filled with strategies and plans to counter the emerging threats. Yet, amidst the chaos and responsibility, they always found moments to reconnect, to strengthen the love that had become the foundation of their resilience. That evening, after a long day of meetings and briefings, Naruko returned to her private chambers. The room was a sanctuary of peace, adorned with personal mementos and the soft glow of lanterns that bathed the space in a warm light. Yamato was already there, sitting at a small table with a cup of tea in hand, waiting for her. "Welcome back," he greeted her with a gentle smile, gesturing for her to sit beside him. Naruko took a seat, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of gratitude and love. "Thank you, Yamato. I needed some time to unwind." He offered her the cup of tea, which she accepted gratefully. "I thought a quiet evening might be nice. We've both been so busy." She nodded, taking a sip of the soothing tea. "It's perfect. Sometimes, the simplest moments are the most meaningful." Yamato reached out, taking her hand in his. "Naruko, I want you to know that no matter how challenging things get, I'll always be here for you. In every battle, every decision, and every quiet moment we share." Naruko felt her heart swell with emotion, the sincerity in his voice touching her deeply. "And I'll always be here for you, Yamato. Our bond is what gives me the strength to lead and protect our village." They sat together in comfortable silence, the love they shared acting as a shield against the uncertainties of the world outside. The challenges they faced were formidable, but with each other, they knew they could overcome anything. As the night deepened, Naruko found herself reflecting on the journey they had undertaken together. From fierce battles to moments of tender intimacy, their relationship had blossomed into something profound and unbreakable. The adversity they had faced had only served to strengthen their bond, solidifying their commitment to one another and to the village they both cherished. Yamato broke the silence, his voice soft yet filled with conviction. "Naruko, as long as we have each other, I believe we can face any threat that comes our way. Our love is our greatest strength." She looked into his eyes, her own filled with unwavering determination. "Yes, Yamato. Together, we're unstoppable." Their hands remained intertwined, a silent promise of their enduring love and support. In the face of adversity, they stood united, their hearts beating in unison as they prepared to protect Konoha and each other with every fiber of their being. Chapter 13, The Proposal. Setting, Konoha Serene Garden. The late afternoon sun cast a warm, golden glow over Konoha's serene garden, transforming it into a haven of tranquility and beauty. The garden, a cherished sanctuary within the village, was meticulously maintained, with vibrant blooms and carefully pruned trees creating a picturesque landscape. Stone pathways meandered through the lush greenery, leading to secluded benches and tranquil water features that added to the garden's peaceful ambience. Naruko Uzumaki stood near the koi pond, her Hokage cloak gently billowing in the soft breeze. The garden was her refuge, a place where she could find solace away from the bustling responsibilities of leadership. Today, however, the garden held a special significance, not just as her sanctuary, but as the setting for a momentous occasion that would change her life forever. Yamato, her steadfast partner, approached her with a serene smile. His presence was a source of comfort and strength, a constant reminder of the bond they shared. He carried a small, elegantly wrapped box in his hand, its surface adorned with intricate patterns that mirrored the beauty of the garden around them. "Naruko," he greeted softly, his voice filled with a gentle warmth. "May I have a moment of your time?" She turned to face him, her bright blue eyes reflecting the love and trust they held for one another. "Of course, Yamato. What's on your mind?" He took a deep breath, his gaze unwavering as he opened the box to reveal a delicate necklace. The pendant was a finely crafted symbol of their journey together, a combination of a leaf, representing Konoha, and a spiral, symbolizing their intertwined destinies. "I wanted to give you something that represents everything we've been through and everything we aspire to be together," Yamato began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "You've been my anchor, my inspiration, and my greatest support. Being by your side has shown me the true meaning of partnership and love." Naruko felt her heart swell with emotion, the sincerity in his words touching her deeply. "Yamato, this is beautiful. Thank you." He took her hands in his touch both comforting and resolute. "Naruko, over the years, we've faced countless challenges together, battles, missions, and the responsibilities that come with leading Konoha. Through it all, our bond has only grown stronger. I can't imagine my life without you in it." She looked down at their intertwined hands, the weight of his words sinking in. The journey they had embarked upon was one of mutual respect, trust, and unwavering support. Yamato had been by her side through thick and thin, his presence a constant source of strength and stability. Yamato, she began, her voice soft yet filled with conviction, being Hokage has been both an honor and a responsibility. There are moments when the weight of leadership feels overwhelming, but knowing that I have you by my side makes everything easier. Your support means more to me than words can express. He smiled, his eyes shining with love and determination. Naruko, I want to take our relationship to the next level. I want to spend my life supporting you, loving you, and building our future together. Will you marry me? Tears welled in Naruko's eyes as she felt the depth of his love and commitment. The proposal was a culmination of their shared experiences, the trials they had faced, and the unwavering bond that had brought them closer over time. She took a deep breath, her heart full of joy and certainty. Yes, Yamato, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Yes, I will marry you. He gently lifted the necklace from the box and fastened it around her neck, the pendant resting delicately against her heart. Thank you, Naruko. I promise to stand by your side, through every challenge and every triumph. Together, we can achieve anything. They embraced, the world around them fading into the background as they held each other close. The serene garden, with its blooming flowers and tranquil waters, bore witness to their love and commitment, a symbol of the peace and happiness they sought to cultivate together. As they pulled apart, Naruko looked into Yamato's eyes, her love for him evident in every glance. I couldn't have asked for a better partner, Yamato. Your strength, your kindness, and your unwavering support have been my pillars. I'm excited to build our future together. Yamato's smile was radiant, his heart overflowing with happiness. And I couldn't have hoped for anyone better to share my life with. Together, we'll create a future filled with love, peace, and endless possibilities. Their friends and allies, who had gathered secretly in the garden to witness the special moment, stepped forward with smiles and tears of joy. Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, Sai, and others who had been instrumental in their journey shared in their happiness, their presence a testament to the strong bonds of friendship that had supported Naruko and Yamato throughout their trials. Shikamaru, ever the strategist, approached first, offering a congratulatory nod. You two make a great team. It's only fitting that you're continuing that partnership into your personal lives. Ino, her eyes sparkling with happiness, placed a hand on Naruko's shoulder. We're all so happy for you both. You've earned every bit of this happiness. Sai, his usually reserved demeanor softened by the occasion, nodded in agreement. Congratulations. Your love and dedication to each other are truly inspiring. Naruko and Yamato shared grateful smiles, their hearts full as they stood surrounded by the people who mattered most to them. The garden, once a place of quiet reflection, had become the backdrop for a celebration of love and unity, a symbol of the new beginnings that awaited them. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the garden, the group moved to a nearby pavilion where refreshments and traditional Japanese delicacies awaited them. The air was filled with laughter and the clinking of glasses, the atmosphere joyous and filled with anticipation for the future. Yamato and Naruko found themselves sharing a quiet moment away from the crowd, their hands still entwined and their hearts full of love. The day's events had solidified their commitment to each other, and the support of their friends and allies only reinforced the strength of their bond. Naruko, Yamato began, his voice gentle, today has been incredible. Thank you for saying yes. I promise to cherish and support you every step of the way. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the love she felt for him. Thank you, Yamato. I have no doubt that our future together will be filled with love and happiness. I'm excited to see what lies ahead for us. As the evening progressed, the celebration continued under the canopy of stars, the garden illuminated by lanterns that hung from the trees and the soft glow of fireflies dancing in the air. The sounds of traditional music and laughter filled the space, creating an atmosphere of pure joy and contentment. Naruko and Yamato moved through the festivities hand in hand, their hearts light and their spirits lifted by the love they shared and the support of their friends. The proposal had been a defining moment in their relationship, marking the beginning of a new chapter filled with promise and hope. Later that night, as the celebration wound down and the guests began to depart, Naruko and Yamato found themselves alone in the pavilion, the quiet of the night wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. "Yamato," Naruko whispered, her voice filled with emotion, "I can't believe how far we've come. From partners in missions to partners in life, it feels like a dream." He smiled, pulling her close. "It's no dream, Naruko. It's our reality, and it's something beautiful that we've created together." She nestled into his embrace, feeling the steady beat of his heart against hers. "I look forward to every moment we'll share, every challenge we'll face, and every joy we'll experience together." Yamato held her tightly, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "And I'll always be here for you, Naruko. No matter what comes our way, we'll face it together." As they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them in their moment of pure love and commitment. The garden, with its blooming flowers and serene waters, was a perfect reflection of their relationship, beautiful, resilient, and full of life. The night sky above them was clear, the stars twinkling like diamonds against the velvet darkness. Naruko looked up, pointing to a particularly bright star. "See that one? They say shooting stars grant wishes." Yamato chuckled softly. "Then make a wish, Naruko." She closed her eyes, her heart full as she made her silent wish. "May our love continue to grow and guide us through all the challenges and joys that lie ahead." When she opened her eyes, Yamato was looking down at her with a tender smile. "I already know that wish is coming true." They shared a quiet laugh, their hearts aligned and their futures intertwined. The proposal had not only solidified their commitment but had also strengthened the bonds of love and friendship that had carried them through countless battles and challenges. As they walked back to their chambers, hand in hand, Naruko felt a profound sense of peace and happiness. The path ahead was still uncertain, with threats looming on the horizon and responsibilities that weighed heavily on her shoulders. But with Yamato by her side, and the support of their friends and allies, she knew they could face anything that came their way. Their journey together had been filled with trials and triumphs, each moment bringing them closer and deepening their connection. The proposal was a milestone, a testament to their enduring love and unwavering commitment to each other. As they entered their shared quarters, the soft glow of lanterns illuminated the room, creating a cozy and intimate atmosphere. Naruko and Yamato settled into the comfort of their home, the day's events still fresh in their minds and hearts. "Tonight was perfect," Naruko murmured, leaning into Yamato's embrace. "Thank you for making it so special." He kissed the top of her head gently. "It was my pleasure, Naruko. Our love deserves to be celebrated every step of the way." They spent the rest of the evening in each other's company, sharing stories, dreams, and plans for the future. The challenges that awaited them were still daunting, but their love provided a beacon of hope and resilience, guiding them through the uncertainties of their roles and the ever-changing landscape of the shinobi world. As the night grew deeper and the stars shone brightly outside their window, Naruko and Yamato felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Their love was a source of strength, a force that would sustain them through the darkest of times and the brightest of days. Together, they were ready to embrace the future, their hearts united in a bond that was unbreakable and their love a testament to the power of trust, support, and unwavering commitment. Chapter 14, Wedding Preparations. Setting: Konoha's vibrant streets and ceremonial halls. The vibrant streets of Konohagakure buzzed with an infectious energy, a testament to the joyous occasion that was unfolding within the village. Banners adorned with intricate designs fluttered gracefully from the rooftops, their colors reflecting the vibrant spirit of the Festival of Colors. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly baked pastries, grilled delicacies, and the sweet scent of blooming cherry blossoms that seemed to have sprung up overnight in celebration of Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato's upcoming wedding. Naruko Uzumaki, now a respected Hokage, moved gracefully through the bustling streets, her Hokage cloak flowing behind her like a vibrant tapestry. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with a mixture of excitement and determination as she navigated the throng of villagers who had gathered to assist with the wedding preparations. Today marked the culmination of years of friendship, battles fought side by side, and a love that had only grown stronger with each passing day. Yamato walked alongside her, his presence a calming influence amidst the whirlwind of activity. His steady demeanor and warm smile provided Naruko with a sense of reassurance that she cherished deeply. The two had grown inseparable, their bond a beacon of strength and unity that had guided them through countless challenges. Now, as they prepared to embark on a new chapter of their lives together, their love was the cornerstone upon which the entire village rallied. The couple had chosen the serene garden within the Hokage compound as the venue for their wedding, a place that held deep personal significance. It was here that they had spent countless hours training, strategizing, and sharing moments of quiet intimacy. The garden was a harmonious blend of traditional Japanese aesthetics and modern comforts, with meticulously maintained flower beds, tranquil water features, and shaded alcoves perfect for reflection and conversation. As Naruko and Yamato approached the garden, they were greeted by their closest friends and allies, each playing a vital role in the wedding preparations. Shikamaru Nara, the ever-thoughtful strategist, stood near the entrance, his typically relaxed posture replaced by a more purposeful stance as he oversaw the placement of decorations. "Everything looks perfect, Shikamaru," Naruko remarked, her voice filled with gratitude. "You've really outdone yourself." Shikamaru offered a rare, genuine smile. "It's not just me. We've all worked together to make sure your day is as special as it can be. Ino, Sai, and even the rest of Team 7 have put in a lot of effort." Ino Yamanaka, ever the epitome of grace and charm, approached with a tray of beautifully arranged flowers. "Naruko, Yamato, we thought these would complement the garden perfectly. Sakura and Hinata have also been helping out, they wanted to ensure everything is just right." Sai, holding a delicate scroll detailing the day's schedule, nodded respectfully. "I've organized the sequence of events to ensure a smooth flow. The ceremony, followed by the reception, and then the celebrations. Everything is planned meticulously." Naruko took a moment to admire the floral arrangements, the vibrant colors adding a touch of elegance to the already stunning garden. "Thank you, everyone. Your support means the world to us." As the morning sun climbed higher, the preparations continued in earnest. Canonical characters from Konoha, including Kakashi Hatake, might have been involved, bringing their unique skills and perspectives to the table. The sense of community was palpable, each person contributing in their own way to ensure the wedding was a reflection of Naruko and Yamato's journey together. Kakashi Hatake, the wise and ever-watchful sensei, approached with a smile hidden beneath his signature mask. "Naruko, Yamato, everything seems to be in order. If there's anything else you need, don't hesitate to ask." Naruko looked up, her eyes meeting Kakashi's with a mixture of respect and affection. "Thank you, Kakashi. Your presence here means a lot to us." Kakashi nodded, his visible eye twinkling with genuine happiness. "It's an honor to be part of such a significant day." As the day progressed, the couple moved through various stages of preparation, each one bringing them closer to their special day. They visited the traditional shrine that had been set up for the ceremony, its wooden beams adorned with intricate carvings and lanterns that cast a soft, warm light over the entire structure. The shrine was a beautiful symbol of their commitment, blending the sacredness of tradition with the personal touches that made their love story unique. Naruko and Yamato had chosen to incorporate elements from their own experiences into the ceremony, ensuring that it was a true reflection of their journey. The bride, dressed in a stunning kimono that showcased her vibrant personality, radiated beauty and grace. The groom, in his formal ninja attire adapted for the occasion, exuded confidence and strength, a perfect complement to his bride's elegance. As they stood beneath the ornate archway of the shrine, surrounded by their closest friends and allies, Naruko felt a surge of emotion. The journey to this moment had been filled with challenges and triumphs, each step strengthening the bond between her and Yamato. Now, as they prepared to exchange vows and promises, the weight of their shared history and the promise of their future together settled warmly in her heart. Shikamaru approached with a clipboard, his analytical mind ensuring that every detail was accounted for. Naruko, Yamato, everything is set for the ceremony. The officiant is ready, and the seating arrangements have been finalized. Naruko nodded, her gaze meeting Yamato's with a silent understanding. Thank you, Shikamaru. Let's go over the vows one last time. As they rehearsed their vows, the couple reflected on the significance of their words. Each promise was a testament to their love, trust, and unwavering support for one another. They had fought side by side in battles, strategized through crises, and shared moments of quiet intimacy that had cemented their bond. Now, they were ready to take the next step, solidifying their commitment in the presence of their friends, family, and the entire village. The morning passed in a blur of activity, each moment bringing the couple closer to their wedding day. Ino Yamanaka, with her keen eye for aesthetics, oversaw the final touches to the decorations, ensuring that every flower was in its rightful place and every detail was perfect. Sai, with his artistic flair, added subtle touches that highlighted the couple's unique journey, blending traditional motifs with personal symbols that held deep meaning for Naruko and Yamato. As the afternoon sun began to wane, casting long shadows across the garden, the final preparations were underway. The ceremonial halls were filled with the sounds of laughter, conversations, and the gentle strumming of traditional instruments, adding a musical backdrop to the day's festivities. Naruko took a moment to herself, walking along the stone pathways that meandered through the garden. The tranquility of the space offered her a brief respite from the whirlwind of activity, allowing her to gather her thoughts and center herself before the ceremony. She found herself drawn to a secluded alcove, where a small bench overlooked the pond adorned with koi fish gracefully swimming beneath the surface. As she sat down, Yamato joined her, his presence a comforting anchor. It's almost time, he remarked softly, taking a seat beside her. How are you feeling? Naruko took a deep breath, her eyes meeting Yamato's with a mixture of excitement and serenity. Nervous, but in a good way. This is a big step for us, and I want everything to be perfect. He smiled, his hand gently squeezing hers. Everything will be perfect, Naruko. We've prepared for this day for a long time, and with everyone here to support us, there's nothing to worry about. She nodded, feeling the truth in his words. You're right. We've built a strong foundation together, and today's celebration is a testament to that. As they sat in companionable silence, their friends began to gather in the garden, each one bringing their unique presents and contributions to the festivities. Shikamaru, Ino, Sai, and others moved about, finalizing arrangements and ensuring that every aspect of the wedding was in place. The sense of community and shared joy was palpable, each person playing a vital role in making the day as special as it could be. Kakashi Hitaki, the ever-watchful sensei, approached with a gentle smile. Naruko, Yamato, everything is looking wonderful. Your wedding day is truly a beautiful celebration of your love and commitment. Naruko looked up, her eyes reflecting gratitude and happiness. Thank you, Kakashi. Your support means a lot to us. Kakashi nodded, his visible eyes shining with genuine happiness. It's my pleasure. You've both earned every bit of this happiness. As the evening approached, the garden transformed into a breathtaking display of lights and colors. Lanterns hung from the trees, their soft glow casting a magical ambience over the entire space. The traditional decorations blended seamlessly with the personal touches that Naruko and Yamato had chosen, creating an atmosphere that was both elegant and intimate. Ino Yamanaka approached with a tray of refreshments, her smile as radiant as the lanterns that adorned the garden. Naruko, Yamato, I prepared some refreshments for after the ceremony. Sakura and Hinata have also been helping out, they wanted to ensure that everyone is comfortable and well-fed. Naruko accepted a glass of chilled sake, raising it in a silent toast to their friends. Thank you, Ino. This is perfect. As the sun set, the garden was bathed in the warm hues of twilight, the sky painted with streaks of orange, pink, and purple. The stars began to emerge, twinkling like diamonds against the darkening sky, adding a touch of celestial magic to the evening. The ceremony was about to begin, and Naruko felt a flutter of anticipation in her chest. She glanced at Yamato, whose steady presence filled her with a sense of calm and assurance. Their friends had gathered around the shrine, their faces filled with joy and excitement, ready to witness the union of two hearts that had become inseparable. Shikamaru took his place as the officiant, his usually laid-back demeanor replaced by a more formal and composed presence. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato. The ceremony commenced with traditional rituals, each one symbolizing the strength and depth of Naruko and Yamato's bond. They exchanged vows that spoke of their shared past, their present love, and their future aspirations. Each promise was a reflection of their journey together, through battles fought side by side, challenges overcome, and moments of quiet intimacy that had solidified their connection. As the vows concluded, Shikamaru pronounced them partners for life, and the crowd erupted in applause and cheers. Naruko and Yamato exchanged their first kiss as a married couple, the moment captured perfectly by their friends who had been meticulously documenting the day's events. The reception that followed was a lively affair, filled with laughter, music, and heartfelt speeches. Ino and Sai performed a traditional dance, their movements synchronized and graceful, adding an element of cultural richness to the celebration. Sakura Haruno, her cheeks flushed with happiness, gave a touching speech about the couple's journey and the strength of their love. Yamato took to the stage, his voice steady as he addressed the gathered friends and family. Thank you all for being here today. Your support and friendship have been instrumental in our journey together. We are grateful to have each of you in our lives, and we look forward to building a future filled with love, peace, and happiness. Naruko followed, her voice filled with emotion as she spoke about the importance of community and the bonds that had sustained her and Yamato through the years. Today is not just about our love, but about the love and support we receive from all of you. You've been with us through every challenge and every triumph, and we are forever grateful. As the evening wore on, the celebrations continued with dancing, games, and the sharing of traditional delicacies. Friends and allies mingled, their interactions filled with joy and camaraderie, reflecting the deep sense of unity that had brought Naruko and Yamato to this momentous occasion. In the midst of the festivities, Naruko and Yamato found moments of quiet intimacy, stealing away from the crowd to share heartfelt conversations and tender embraces. The day had been a beautiful culmination of their journey together, and the love they shared was the foundation upon which their future would be built. As the night reached its peak, a grand fireworks display lit up the sky, each burst of color reflecting the vibrant spirit of their union. Naruko and Yamato stood side by side, watching as the fireworks illuminated the garden, their hearts filled with gratitude and love. Shikamaru approached, a content smile on his face. You two make a great team. Here's to many more years of happiness and unity. Naruko and Yamato smiled, their hands intertwined. Thank you, Shikamaru. We couldn't have done this without you. As the final fireworks faded into the night, the couple shared a quiet moment, their love shining brightly against the backdrop of the illuminated garden. The day had been a testament to their enduring bond, the strength of their relationships, and the unwavering support of their friends and allies. Later that night, as the last guests departed and the garden returned to its tranquil state, Naruko and Yamato stood beneath the blooming cherry blossom tree where they had shared so many meaningful moments. The petals gently floated around them, a silent witness to their love and commitment. Yamato took Naruko's hand, his eyes filled with unwavering devotion. Naruko, today has been everything I could have hoped for and more. I promise to cherish and support you every step of the way. She smiled, her heart full of love and gratitude. And I promise to stand by your side, Yamato. Together, we'll build a life filled with love, happiness, and endless possibilities. As they embraced beneath the cherry blossom tree, the garden seemed to shimmer with a magical light, a perfect reflection of the love and unity that had brought them to this joyous day. Their journey together was only beginning, and with each other's support, they were ready to face whatever the future held, their hearts united in an unbreakable bond. The streets of Konoha slept peacefully, unaware of the profound love and unity that had been celebrated within its heart. But within the serene garden, Naruko and Yamato stood as a symbol of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of love, a beacon that would guide them through the trials and triumphs of their shared future. Chapter 15, A New Chapter. Setting, Konoha's wedding venue. The sun began its gentle descent, casting a warm, golden hue over Konohagakura's serene wedding venue. Nestled within the heart of the village, the ceremonial halls stood majestically, their traditional architecture blending seamlessly with modern elegance. Lanterns adorned with intricate patterns hung gracefully from the ceilings, their soft glow illuminating the room with a romantic ambience. The scent of blooming cherry blossoms wafted through the air, mingling with the subtle fragrance of fresh flowers meticulously arranged along the aisles. Naruko Uzumaki stood at the entrance of the venue, her heart swelling with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Dressed in a stunning bridal kimono that showcased her vibrant personality, she embodied both grace and strength. The kimono's delicate patterns symbolized the journey she and Yamato had undertaken together, each motif representing a chapter of their shared history. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with joy as she glanced around, taking in the sight of her friends and allies who had gathered to witness this momentous occasion. Yamato, equally resplendent in his formal attire, approached her with a steady and reassuring presence. His outfit, a blend of traditional and contemporary styles, highlighted his calm demeanor and unwavering support. As he reached Naruko, his eyes met hers, reflecting the deep love and commitment they shared. "Naruko," he greeted softly, a genuine smile gracing his features. "You look absolutely beautiful." She returned his smile, feeling a surge of warmth at his words. "Thank you, Yamato. I couldn't have asked for a more perfect day." The ceremony was meticulously planned, each detail thoughtfully arranged to honor their journey and the bonds they had forged. Friends and family filled the halls, their faces alight with happiness and pride. Among them were Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, Sai, Sakura Haruno, and other beloved characters from Konoha, each playing a significant role in Naruko and Yamato's lives. As the guests settled into their seats, the music began, a soft, melodic tune that set the tone for the evening. The floral arrangements along the aisles were a testament to the love and care that had gone into preparing for this day, with vibrant blossoms symbolizing the beauty and resilience of their relationship. Naruko took a deep breath, her heart pounding with emotion. She glanced toward the ceremonial altar, where Shikamaru stood ready to officiate the proceedings. His calm and thoughtful demeanor provided a sense of comfort, reminding her of the unwavering support that surrounded her. Yamato took her hand, his touch grounding her as she prepared to embark on this new chapter of their lives together. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice filled with tenderness. She nodded, her eyes meeting his with unwavering certainty. "Yes, I am. Let's begin." Shikamaru stepped forward, his presence commanding yet gentle. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato. Their journey together has been one of unwavering support, love, and resilience. Today, they pledge to continue that journey as partners for life." As Shikamaru began the ceremony, Naruko and Yamato exchanged heartfelt vows, their words a reflection of their deep bond and shared aspirations. Each promise was a testament to the challenges they had overcome and the love that had only grown stronger with time. "Yamato," Naruko began, her voice steady yet filled with emotion, "from the moment we first met, you've been my anchor and my inspiration. You've stood by me through every challenge, every battle, and every triumph. Today, I promise to stand by your side, to support you, and to cherish our love for all eternity." Yamato's eyes shimmered with unshed tears as he continued, "Naruko, you've shown me the true meaning of strength and compassion. Your unwavering dedication to our village and to our bond has been a guiding light in my life. Today, I vow to love you, to protect you, and to build a future together filled with happiness and peace." As they exchanged rings, symbols of their eternal commitment, the room was filled with a sense of unity and joy. The guests watched with tears of happiness in their eyes, witnessing the culmination of a beautiful love story that had touched each of their lives in profound ways. With the exchange of vows complete, Shikamaru pronounced them partners for life. "Naruko Uzumaki and Yamato, you are now united in marriage. May your journey together be filled with love, happiness, and unwavering support for one another. The applause that followed was thunderous, echoing through the ceremonial halls as Naruko and Yamato shared their first kiss as a married couple. It was a moment of pure joy and love, a symbol of the unbreakable bond they had forged through years of friendship, battles, and unwavering support. As the ceremony transitioned into the reception, the vibrant streets of Konoha came alive with celebrations. Traditional Japanese music played softly in the background, adding to the festive atmosphere. The ceremonial halls were adorned with more floral arrangements, lanterns, and decorations that reflected the couple's unique journey and the love they shared. Guests mingled, sharing stories and laughter, celebrating the union of two hearts that had become inseparable. Shikamaru, Ino, Sai, Sakura, and other friends took turns offering heartfelt speeches, each one highlighting different aspects of Naruko and Yamato's relationship. Shikamaru stepped forward once more, his voice filled with pride and emotion. Naruko, Yamato, your love story is one of resilience, trust, and unwavering support. You've shown us all what it means to stand by someone through thick and thin, and your partnership is an inspiration to us all. Here's to a future filled with happiness and endless possibilities. Ino Yamanaka, always the embodiment of grace and charm, approached with a warm smile. Watching you two together has been a joy. Your love radiates warmth and strength, and it's clear that you're meant to be together. May your lives be filled with love, laughter, and countless beautiful moments. Sai, his usually reserved demeanor softened by the occasion, added, your bond is a testament to the power of love and friendship. It's an honor to witness your union and to celebrate the love you share. As the evening progressed, the reception became a lively affair filled with dancing, games, and the sharing of traditional delicacies. Friends and allies showcased their talents, performing dances and musical pieces that added to the rich tapestry of the celebration. Naruko and Yamato took to the dance floor for their first dance as a married couple, the room enveloped in the soft glow of lanterns and the gentle melody of traditional instruments. They moved gracefully together, their steps synchronized and their hearts beating in unison. It was a moment of pure connection, a reflection of the harmony and love that had brought them to this point. As the night wore on, the festivities continued with even greater enthusiasm. The vibrant streets of Konoha were filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the joyful chatter of friends and family celebrating the couple's union. The sense of community and shared happiness was palpable, a reminder of the strong bonds that held the village together. Throughout the evening, Naruko and Yamato found moments of quiet intimacy amidst the celebrations. They shared tender conversations, exchanged knowing glances, and held each other close, savoring the love and connection that had been the foundation of their relationship. At one point, they found themselves surrounded by their closest friends, each one eager to offer their congratulations and well wishes. Shikamaru, Ino, Sai, and Sakura gathered around them, their faces beaming with happiness and pride. Naruko, Yamato, Shikamaru began, his voice filled with genuine warmth, you two are a perfect match. Your love and partnership have not only strengthened each other, but have also inspired all of us. We're all so happy for you. Ino chimed in, her eyes sparkling with joy, absolutely. Your love story is one that we'll all remember and cherish. Here's to many more years of happiness and love. Sai, his usually reserved nature softened by the occasion, nodded in agreement. Your bond is a shining example of what true partnership looks like. Congratulations to both of you. Sakura Haruno, her cheeks flushed with happiness, added, watching your journey together has been incredible. Your love is strong and unwavering, and it's clear that you're meant to be together. As the night reached its peak, the couple was surrounded by their friends and allies, each one eager to celebrate and honor their union. The vibrant energy of the celebration was a reflection of the love and support that Naruko and Yamato had cultivated over the years, a testament to the enduring power of friendship and love. As the festivities began to wind down, Naruko and Yamato found themselves standing once more beneath the blooming cherry blossom tree, the symbol of their love and commitment. The petals gently floated around them, a silent witness to their vows and promises. Yamato took Naruko's hand, his eyes filled with unwavering devotion. Naruko, Today has been everything I could have hoped for and more. I promise to cherish and support you every step of the way. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the love she felt for him. And I promise to stand by your side, Yamato. Together, we'll build a life filled with love, happiness, and endless possibilities. As they embraced beneath the cherry blossom tree, the world around them seemed to shimmer with a magical light, a perfect reflection of their love and unity. Their journey together had been one of trials and triumphs, each challenge strengthening their bond and each victory celebrating their unwavering commitment. The vibrant streets of Konoha continued to pulse with life and energy, the village itself a living testament to the enduring bonds of friendship and love that had brought Naruko and Yamato to this joyous day. The ceremonial halls, now quiet and empty, stood as a silent witness to the love and unity that had been celebrated within their walls. As the final guests departed and the night settled into a peaceful stillness, Naruko and Yamato remained side by side, their hands intertwined and their hearts full. The challenges that awaited them were still numerous, but the love and support they shared provided a beacon of hope and resilience that would guide them through any storm. In the quiet of the night, as the stars twinkled brightly overhead, Naruko and Yamato looked toward the future with unwavering determination and boundless love. Their union was not just the culmination of their journey together, but the beginning of a new chapter filled with endless possibilities and the promise of a life lived side by side. Together, they stood as a symbol of hope and unity, their hearts beating in unison as they prepared to embrace the adventures and challenges that lay ahead. The bonds they shared were unbreakable, their love a beacon of light guiding them through the complexities of life and the ever-changing landscape of the shinobi world. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting a soft glow over the village, Naruko and Yamato knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, united in love, strengthened by their bonds, and ready to build a life filled with joy, peace, and unwavering commitment. Their journey had been long and filled with challenges, but the love they shared was the foundation upon which their future would be built. As they walked hand in hand toward the sunrise, their hearts were full of hope and determination, ready to embrace the new chapter of their lives together. The end of my story.